What's happening, guys? Welcome to an episode of the Poker Pals podcast with your host, RobinPoker. And my poker pal today is 888 Poker ambassador, streamer extraordinaire, Eastwood. How are we, lad?
I'm good, Lucas, lad. Thanks for having me on Poker Pals. I didn't realise that, I love the fact that we're Poker Pals. That's got me real beaming,
I just thought, well, what's a good name? I was on ChatGPT, like, give me some good names and Poker Pals. I was like, yeah, I've got loads of Poker Pals now built up over the years, so.
You're friends with everyone, though, aren't you? I make a lot of enemies and you're just like chill with everybody.
Nah, I'm sure I've got some enemies that I try and be mates with everyone. I try and be sound, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
But let people know about yourself. Obviously, we're good mates. You're one of my closest mates in poker, but there's still a lot that we haven't sat down and spoke about. So
Yeah.
let people know who you are, where you're from, your background.
Yeah, so I'm Nick Eastwood, or Easty22, and from the UK, near London, Essex, represent. And I've been playing poker all my life, of course, since I was 18, obviously. Definitely never played before I was 18. When the pandemic hit, I started doing some streaming, started doing some videos, just lobbing some stuff up because I was feeling super lazy. So started putting some things on my YouTube channel, which is obviously my main focus. And people just seem to watch it. It was a sort of a bit of a void at that point. Now there's loads of content. So it was sort of like a perfect storm of timing, really. I just sort of landed right, because I wasn't even that good or that interesting. There just wasn't anything else to watch on YouTube about poker for some reason. Thankfully I just sort of found a little niche in microstakes cash, and then from there just got an offer from 888 to do it more full time, and here we are on Poker Pals. What more could you want?
So what age did you? Obviously legally, I always say that legally 18, but
Yeah.
I'm open and just saying I'd played home games with my family and played some free
of
rolls
course.
and stuff. What age? How did you get into poker then?
So yeah, my friends at school, it would have been from what's it called? Premier League Poker on channel. Mate, you'd have been a baby.
That's how mad my dad is and my family, that I was watching all this when I was young. I was watching like, do you ever remember Sky Poker? You could watch it.
I do remember that, but I never had Sky when I was a kid.
Okay.
So I had terrestrial TV. So I was on channel, was it 4 or 5, watching Premier League Poker with like obviously Helmuth and the Devilfish and Annie Duke and all this, and like that's where I got into it, and we just all my mates watched it. Well, a few of my mates watched it, and we would just be like, "Oh, this is class," and we would like learn up about it, read about it. We were horrific, obviously, as everyone was. But yeah, we should just play in the conservatory for like a fiver. Never put the blinds up. Be there for like 6 hours, just like with these mountains of chips. We just enjoyed it. Yeah. So then, obviously, when I went to uni, I started playing online when I was 18. So yeah.
Were you in uni? Was there like a poker society?
Yeah, there was a poker society, so that piqued my interest. I was still friends with one of the guys there. He's one of my very good friends in poker. He was the president when I got to university, and it's a funny story how I met him actually. So like I didn't know that there was a poker society at uni, and I was just playing a little bit, and I was playing COD as well. I played a lot of COD 4 back in the day. And I was all right at it, and there was the greatest game ever. Nothing's going to come close. No. There was this site called Tech9, which maybe some older folks will know about. This Tech9 was like a forum for Call of Duty, and I posted on there like because I was feeling like a bit of bravado, and I was like, anyone fancy heads up for rolls kind of thing? Like, anyone want to play heads up that plays COD? Like, because I wanted to like just play against somebody and just whatever. And this guy called Smith responded and was like, he hates when I talk about him. This guy responded, and I was like, yeah, let's play. So he played a little bit. He beat me. And the next week I was at the Grosvenor in Reading, where I went to university. And I was playing against this guy with like this hair across his face and all this emo guy. And he was pretty good. He was putting on everyone, including me. And then afterwards we were just chatting. He was like, "Oh, do you want to lift back to the halls?" I was like, "Yeah, cheers." And I was like, "Oh, what's your name, by the way?" He dropped me off. He's like, "Smith," and I was like, "No way." He was the guy that responded on the Tech9 forum, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm president of the Poker Society. You should come along." And that's how I got into like properly playing it a lot. So it's very strange how these things go, but
yeah. And so obviously you're a cash game player mostly. Were you ever into tournaments at the start of your way, just being cash games?
So tournaments, I started in for sure. I never played cash with like my friends. We'd always play sit and goes. I always played tournaments, which would be surprising for people to hear because I absolutely despise them. Obviously, and mainly because I'm so bad at them. I actually think they're pretty class when you get deep in them, which you're doing all the time. I never do, so I'm always miserable about them. But yeah, I started playing tournaments. When I was at uni, I played these like 45-man sit and goes on Stars. And for some reason, I was just like, I was terrible, but whatever I was doing was just really good at beating these games. Obviously, everyone was bad. And I'd play loads and loads of tournaments on Stars mainly, I think. It wasn't really that many. I had full tilt. Oh, it was full tilt 45 mans. It wasn't Stars. It was full tilt 45 mans.
Old, you
yeah,
lads.
I know,
Jesus.
yeah. Full tilt 45-man sit and goes. Like the $11 ones, I play the $30 ones. Sometimes I played like $70 when it was getting a little bit like more ridiculous. I was cashing so many of them. I remember someone coming into my room being like, someone told them I play poker. He's like, can I see your start scope? I was like, I haven't got a clue what that is, mate. But yeah, sure, go ahead. I was like, this is my screen name. And he's like, fucking hell, like it's straight up. I was like, is it? I was like, I knew I was winning, but I didn't realize it was impressive. But yeah, when I first started, my friends from school, they were like, oh, do you want to play? And I was like, I had zero money. So they were like, here's $20 like on your account. Go ahead. And I won a tournament and came second in another. And then from then on, you know what it's like when you get that feeling. It's over. Like it's over. So I was playing I was playing everything. I was max firing everything. Like if people saw me back then, what I am now, they wouldn't believe it. But the reason I got into cash games was because of the society. They were having these home games in like people's kitchens and like a university, like all night long. And I just loved the like, social side of cash games, like because you play with the people you want to play with. Like we had like deals with the poker room in the area. We would play cash games there. It was just what we did like every week, and it just became something I preferred over time. That's where it really came from.
Okay. So, yeah, because I've always just enjoyed tournaments, the buzz, like the story. I've just always found cash games boring. So, did you enjoy both? And then at what point did you then transition to only cash games?
So it must have been, I was playing tournaments for a long time. I was playing tournaments and cash all throughout university. I was non-stop playing poker, literally non-stop.
Were you playing? Were you studying at this point or just playing?
Yeah, I was studying philosophy at uni, and
no, in terms of are you studying?
Oh,
poker?
Sorry, studying poker. You study how?
No, in terms of like, no,
how long ago this was?
yeah, true. Yeah, he didn't have to study back then because I always say when I didn't even finish a year in uni. I was studying more poker than I was my actual degree because I just hated my degree and I was playing more poker. So were you the same in terms of were you playing basically just around your degree?
Yeah, I was playing all around my degree. There was nobody studied. There wasn't a thing. No. It was just like, are you good or not? Like you'd talk about it between friends. It was the glory days, man. Like the only way you learn was talking about hands with friends. And I can't even remember a time where we were like, it wasn't even a thing. It wasn't even like, oh, do you study? It was nothing like that. It was you were good or you're not. And your experience guided whether you were good or you're not, or you weren't good.
Just experience, yeah. And what do you think? Like, so if you didn't study, then was it more just speaking like hands up with mates and like what made the best players at that point? Then do you think?
It was definitely having a group of people that you could talk about hands with. That's the only thing you could do. Like you would talk about, like your friends would give you, shit about a hand, and you'd talk about why it was good, why it was bad, and you just learn that way, like through inference. Like you just make mistakes and then talk about them, and we were always with the people, and then everyone would get like angry about a hand in a home game that you'd played like an idiot, and you talk about that. It was just as osmosis of study in a way that we didn't even know we were studying, but we were playing so much poker and we loved it so much. We were just talking about it. We just started understanding the game more, I guess. And from there got better. I mean, no one was ever that good. A few people were like Smith he was like, he still doesn't study that much, but he's just very naturally intuitive with the game. Yeah. And I think he thrived in that environment pretty heavily, and I learned quite a lot of him. So
when you just gone back, when you said you're into COD, do you? Because we had this conversation one time on stream, and I was rarely into video games growing up, and and there's this stigma around video games where it's like, no, it's bad for kids. I actually think it's the opposite, where it like 100%. Taught me so much to be competitive and like just obviously the social side as well. I remember coming home like every night from school and just playing for hours, like with my dad, with his friends, with my friends. And like, were you ever like super competitive with COD?
Yeah, we were very competitive with COD. So it was a bit weird because like so when I was like I want to say I was like 17. It was COD 4. I was playing just on public servers, and people at school were like, they were all playing on. I played on PC. Everyone was playing on console, which is the main thing that everyone played. Barely anyone played on PC. But all I had was a PC. I didn't have an Xbox or a PlayStation, so I played on PC. Very, very glad that I did, because I think it's far superior.
Yeah,
I think people are sort of realizing that now a bit more with these kind of things. They play on their controller on a PC because they get much better like frames and all that. Yeah. But yeah, back in the day, I played on public servers, and then everyone at school was like, "Yeah, we play on console." I was like, "You're probably not good. You play on PC, you're probably not good." And I remember, I was like, "I'm very good," and I made them a compilation. And I showed it to people, and they were like, "Fuck me!" So I was like, "Right, well, I might be actually pretty good," because I didn't know. And then there was like this thing called Pro Mod on the. If anyone knows about COD 4, this will be really exciting for them to like reminisce about. But there's this thing called Pro Mod on Call of Duty on the PC, and I made a team with my friends that were like really good in public servers, and we just started taking it more seriously. I ended up being on an American team playing in their competitive scene called CEVO, and I played with American, so I was like nocturnal. The year before, the summer before I went to uni, after school, we played in this tournament, and it was like the best time of my life. Like studying like set grenades, like strategies on each map. Like it was all search and destroy, which I hate now, actually. Funnily enough, but it was so.
I was still search and destroy. I played not an hour search and destroy. It was sick,
It was great. So yeah, I played with that team, and that was the best gaming years of my life by far. It was absolutely epic. I remember one game where we were in the quarterfinals, and I was actually like a sort of a sixth man in and out because of my ping. I was pinging like 155 to these servers, so it was horrible to play in the competitive games. We had 6 men, but one of them got mummed. Which meant they weren't allowed to play because it's a school night, so they couldn't play in this game. So I played in this game, and it was like the first round, and I pulled off this like 1v3 or 1v4, and I'll never ever forget it. It's you just don't forget stuff like that. It's just like I was like shaking, and everyone was like fucking high, and then we smashed them after that. We were like not favorites. So yeah, you just can't replicate those kind of feelings, man. You know what it's like. It's just
yeah, I was never super competitive like that. I just played for fun, but I think I did try and get in some form of team, but I was just on console, and I was never good enough. Like I thought I was the best out of all my mates and stuff. And, but I just never. Yeah, poker's the first time. Even footy growing up, like I loved playing footy, and I played not to like a great standard, but I just played for fun. I was never at a point where I was like, I want to be a professional at this. Were you like you want? I suppose that then there wasn't professional gamers, was there? Or
no, you couldn't. Well, there were LANs for COD 4. There was like the first time where some people like started coming into it, and we had some like pretty good, like legendary commentators in those scenes as well, like D-Man and Tosspot. For those, oh god, if anyone's listening to this and knows who they are, they moved like D-Man moved into League of Legends and then into, I want to say, Valorant. I might be wrong, but the scene was quite tight, but it was huge, and we had some unbelievable like legends in the game. Stevie was the number one, and yeah, I mean, what was the question again?
Did you want to?
I'm romanticizing about Stevie.
No, obviously these are memories that like obviously you probably not thought about for a while. So, did you ever? Was there a point where like? Was there any option to do it?
Yeah, to be a pro. Okay, yeah. No, I was not as good as these players. Like we played in an open. It wasn't. There was a CEVO professional and there was a CEVO open, and then there was the people that went to LANs. Like we could have gone to LAN, but like it never really materialized. We were in the open division. We got to like I think it was semis that year. So we were never like amazing, but it wasn't about. I never thought I was going to be a pro. There was maybe a time at uni where just before I started getting into poker, where I thought I might try and play in England with an English, like a UK team, but it never really came to anything. So I think I knew I was never going to be like amazing at it. What I did do back then was a bit of commentary, because I loved the game, and I understood the game because I spent all my night hours like learning all the strats and stuff, and I knew every corner and every peak and every grenade and everything.
So there's actually like you studied like strategy from
Yeah.
like for that.
Yeah, people will be surprised because I don't study the game I'm good at.
That's what I mean,
I'm supposed to be
I
good
know.
at now. But yeah, like I used to sit in a server. Like, so you go into a dead server and you would just literally you would pick a cloud to line your grenade up with that would land directly into where people should be running. It was called a set nade. And we would just sit in a server practicing like different set nades to make like to stop people's certain rushes and stuff. It was class. So yeah, and I got into this. There was a company called eFrag TV, and I did some commentary for them in CVOP, and that was where I first started like really enjoying commentating. And I remember saying to my parents, "I'm going to commentate one day. I'm going to commentate," and they were like, "You're not," because like no one cares about. This was back when it was like not really that a thing to be a professional gamer wasn't a thing. They were like, "No there's not a feature in that. Shut up. You're going to school and you're going to shut up and learn." And I was like, "Okay." But now, like, it's something that I might actually end up doing. So, well, not in COD, but like in poker, hopefully.
Yeah. So it was did you ever make any money from that, or was there not really that much money in that?
There was no money in it.
No.
If we had won, I think there would have been a little bit. But like, even the lands didn't have that much. It was thousands, not tens of thousands that you could win. So it was never really a huge bounty.
So at what point then did you kind of, because for me, I had to give up gaming. I didn't have to, but I made the decision to give up gaming to then pursue poker, because I'm like, I'm never going to be able to like play enough or study enough poker to get good at it, to make it full time. And I made that decision. Did you have to make that decision when transitioning, or did you kind of keep both at the same time type of thing?
I would never give up my games. No. It just wouldn't happen.
Still to this day.
Yeah, I still play games to this day. I play. I mean, nowhere near as much as I used to. Nowhere near. But you know, the new COD comes out. Me and my old friends will still get together and play the new COD for a few weeks until we realise it's nowhere near like the old days. Yeah. League of Legends, I was playing quite a significant amount up until probably recently, and that's only because like my friends that I play League of Legends with don't really have time anymore because they've got other things going on. Before that, I played StarCraft 2, and I did a little bit of commentary in StarCraft 2. I wasn't that good at that either. I was always, in every single game that I've played, if I've put time towards it, I've always been like not good enough to be pro, but better than everyone else that played it like normally. So there was nothing anywhere there for me except like I had a certain understanding of all these games and I could talk about them, but I could never play them against the best, and I was better than the rest. So that's why I always ended up commentating these things, because I wasn't good enough to compete, but like I knew stuff because I would sink so much time into them because I had such a good time playing them.
That's so interesting. I feel like I'm similar in that, where like everything I do, I'm pretty good at. Like you said, I'm probably better than the average person, and that's where I'm trying to break that in terms of poker, and become one of the best. Whether that's, and I've kind of had to be, I've kind of been torn of like, do I try and become one of the best online poker players, MTT wise, which I don't think is possible with streaming and content, or do I become one of the best content creators in poker? And that's where I'm gonna kind of, I think I've changed, because everyone was like, what are you concentrating on? Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to do both? And I was like, yeah, I tried to, for 4 years now, I've tried both. But I think I'm at this point where I'm like, I want to just be really good at something. You know, I mean, same with like football growing up, playing football or soccer in the US. If you listen in the US, like cards, FIFA, like I was always the best out of the people, out my mates or whatever. But then I wasn't good enough to like either make money in it or, you know what I mean, to do it full time. So I think that's where I'm at now in my poker career. Are you like someone that, because you said you really enjoy commentating, and that's something that I've thought about in poker wise as well. Do you find it hard to balance everything together, or do you enjoy kind of doing all different forms of stuff?
I find it very hard. I just did an end of year results video.
Saw it, watched it.
which was I had to be pretty honest with myself and audience, because they don't see, obviously, understandably, they don't see what's going on, what you're doing outside of what they see in for example, for my channel is top 10 hands of the week. So they see me play 10 hands. Some of them are just coolers. Some of them I'm not playing very well. Some of them I play quite well every now and again. And everyone's like, oh, you played that one quite well. It's like they're surprised. So, you know, behind the scenes, obviously, I'm going to all these live events, which are they're pretty intense. Like, I'm on the hook for content all the time, which I absolutely love. The live events are the best thing in the world. Like, I go there, my team's all there, all the management are like my family, and we just have the best time. I get completely royally fucked on the poker table, but it doesn't matter because it's so class, the whole experience. And I'm going to I think I'm doing 12 events this year, which I can't wait to do. But there's just no way that I can do them, make vlogs for all of them, you know, get all my content out, because I have to make sure that if I'm going away, my content doesn't take a break. Like, I have to make sure that, because obviously YouTube will forget you if you don't upload for one day. It's like, sorry, did you think you could get away with that? We're not going to show this next one to anybody. So you have to have I've got four videos a week that I do, which is 2 shorts and then 2 long form. Yeah. Every other week is a live short instead of a midweek long form. And I have to make sure they're out before the event. So this week I'm going to Madrid on Wednesday. And then when I'm going to get back, I'm going to be home for a day. And I have to get the rest of the week out with my editor before I go to Portsmouth for UKPL. And then I come back, and then I've got to do the next week's, and then I've got to do my stream. So anyone that can do that and study at the same time is just a much better human being than I am. I can't do it, man. Like, because if I get back to I have a good trip, I've got to do like a vlog script. Like, I've got to collate all the footage. The last thing that I wanted, some of my scripts last year were like 20 pages long. If I write a 20-page script, the last thing in the entire world that I want to do is sit down and study or play poker. I literally couldn't think of anything worse. Yeah. And over the years, unfortunately, I've had to just go, you know what? I'm not going to be a professional. I'm not going to, again, I've had to go, you know what? I'm probably better than everyone, the rest, but like those top people, I'm just not there, and I'm not going to be there because I do not have the mental headspace to go and commit myself to study to the extent that these guys are able to spend all their time doing. And that's okay with me. It's sometimes people don't understand, like, you're a professional. Why are you not winning? Why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing that? Well, it's because I am mentally exhausted from the amount of sheer volume of poker that I have absorbed in every metric over the last few years. And, you know, I've just had to take a step back and say, you're probably not going to be able to do that. Yes, you're going to have a stab at these tournaments every now and again. As we all know, anyone can win a tournament. Yeah. I even cashed a few at the end of last year. It was unbelievable. And I've just say, look, that's probably not what I'm going to do. I want to do a lot more commentary. That's what I think I would be good at, and hopefully can be. Still need to improve, but like be good at. And obviously my content, which I'm never going to stop. I'm still going to play in order to make content, but I'm never going to be the one that smashes like the highest mid stakes, low stakes online. I'm just not going to. I just don't think I'm going to be able to do that. And it's not like putting myself down. It's just I find it way too difficult to do everything. I don't have it in me. I still need that time in my life where I do other things. Otherwise, I'll burn out, which I have done in the past.
Literally, and it's that realization. And so, how many years are you into doing this full time now?
This would be my 4th.
Yeah. So we're similar in that way. It's like you've got to go through them like Burnout, and you've got to go through them like trying different things. Like obviously, man, I've some reason thought that adding this podcast and trying to do one a week and with shorts is going to be added to mine. Even though I felt burnt out last year, but I like this. Like I've always wanted to do this. I love having conversations with people, and that's why I want to get to more live events this year. And I decided, right, this is something that I want to do now. And I'm always one of these people that like, right, when I want to do something, I'll do it. And I've put this off for far too long. But that's because I was like I said to you off the podcast, I was like, last year I was going to live events, then having to fit in all my streams, then send clips to my editor to do shorts, and then YouTube. And then I'm like, I want to concentrate on YouTube, man, because like I've got so many good ideas and stuff, and I can't. And that's why I have to be honest with myself, and I'm the same as you, where it's like content. I think content for me is what pays the bills. Like just being honest, like I've been profitable the last couple of years playing poker, but that doesn't pay the bills. You know what I mean? And I'm honest with that. And but I also don't want to be a point where I'm like playing tournaments full time and I'm losing a lot of money. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I want to get to a standard where I am profitable in the stakes I'm playing, But I've got to be honest with myself. Like, I know I'm not going to get to the best one of the best online poker players in the world. Like, it's just not happening because they are spending 24/7 talking about hands, studying hands, playing. And I just can't, like, playing like 18 tables at once. I saw Pads last night. Like you said, he's 18 tables was his peak. I just can't do that with streaming. End of story. Never mind. Like I'm not streaming. So, and I enjoy that. You know what I mean? And I think that's where I'm the same with you, where it's like, I want to do all these things to not burn out. But I think I had to make a decision like, what do I want to fully concentrate on now? And that's where you see me do this podcast. And it's like, I want to have conversations with people like yourself where it's like, we speak all the time mostly about Liverpool,
Yeah.
but I enjoy having conversations with people, man. That's where like this year I'm going to an event in Brazil, and it's like, that's what excites me now. You know what I mean? And I think that's the key for anyone watching this, like in any industry, just do what you enjoy. Because I was doing certain stuff that I didn't enjoy, to maybe get views or to maybe like do certain stuff like try and study certain ways, like sit there and just watch like a 2 hour coaching video. I'm like, no, I just don't enjoy this. And I say to people about studying, it's like, if you want to study, but do what you enjoy. And same with people like, oh, tournaments or cash games, do what you enjoy. You know what I mean? Like, you do cash because you enjoy cash. I do tournaments because I enjoy tournaments. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say I enjoy it. Let's hold on.
So is
Okay.
that was one of my other questions. Like, I now in poker, I'm at a stage where it is a job. Like, I find it a job. I don't enjoy it. And that's why I've actually got back into gaming literally over Christmas,
Oh, yeah.
because I didn't have any hobbies other than watching Liverpool anymore. And I got to a point where I'm like, shit, like, I think hobbies are really important to not get you burnt out in life.
Massive.
And yeah, I've gotten back into gaming. So do you still enjoy the game, or do you see it as a job like I do?
I see poker as a facilitator to my job, which is to make content. My job is
Yeah.
to be a content creator. I think I'm quite good at that. I've had some good ideas over the years. Obviously, Pun on Open, and like you said, like, do what you enjoy. Pun on Open is where I started. Like, really, as the first idea that I had, that I started as a little thing with my friend that I did, and it depends on the guest, but sometimes they don't do very well in terms of numbers, but I'll never ever stop making them because I absolutely love making them. And there are some people that always watch them and they always go, look, just remember, by the way, please never stop making this. And I never will, because of those people and because I love doing it. In terms of poker, like, no, I can't say that when I first started doing this, I was like, I'm going to be a cracking poker player, this, that, the other. But like, obviously I didn't have this, arrangement with A-State. My job now is to make the best possible content I can and play the amount of poker that I need to in order to facilitate good content.
Yeah.
Whether that be live poker, whether that be online poker. Like, obviously, I'm going to have a cornerstone, which is online poker, which I obviously need to promote the site, which I'm more than happy to do. And I love playing, getting on stream with all the people that have been there for ages, supporting me, chatting to them, the same people every day, playing with them in my pool, which is obviously quite popular for people to do, to hunt me down, make me miserable. All these things are great and they're great for content. But like live poker as well, it's just, you can do all sorts with the game as a content, but the poker is a facilitator to that. It's not what I'm going to ever be able to do. Like, I'm never going to be able to compete in the way that I thought originally I did. And that's completely fine. Yeah. I don't have a problem with that.
When you were saying that, and I've thought about this in the past, I don't even know UFC. There's this like she's like the top Nina now. She's like UFC like content creator. You've got all like the football content creators, obviously like the guys in the club and stuff like that. They don't play football professionally, so they can spend 24/7 on their content, right? And obviously they're super knowledgeable in that industry. But the difference between poker content creators is we're also battling with, we're seen as professional poker players. So like, we're kind of like having to do both, where it's like, imagine, well, I think obviously Ben Foster was the one that was like playing and doing content, but obviously he was coming to the end. But like, there's no one that's doing, you can't possibly do something full time to a high standard in any industry and be doing content, like your own form of content. And the people that do, obviously, like UFC fighters, I'm thinking like Adesanya and stuff, they're earning so much money where they can just pay people to do it full time for them, so they don't have to worry or do
Yeah.
anything. You know what I mean? That's the difference. That's why, like, when you think about it, it's people that don't do content in general, or obviously don't poker content, and they're like, "Oh, you're a professional poker player. Like, you need to be earning this, or you need to be profitable." It's like, do you try it then?
Yeah, exactly. And I just think like I tried to do both for so long, and it just honestly destroyed my life because I was trying to do everything. And then obviously with the live events, I've sort of just realized like I can really enjoy this game if I treat it in a certain way. I really don't want to resent this game because this game's given me everything. I don't want to be in a position where I'm like, God, I really don't want to play today. So I just need to look at it differently, and I do now look at it completely differently. I just look at it as a vessel for my job, and if I do that, I can enjoy it in its own way, but not in the way that I thought I was going to when I was, starting up this job, but in a new way that's equally viable, and that's what I have to do now.
Yeah. I felt the same. Like, I got to a point where I was like seeing it as a job, and I'm like, I had that realization. I was like, oh shit, like, I really want to be a good poker player, but then but what's paying the bills? Like, is my content. But then it's like, well, my always biggest worry was like, then what if I don't then have that sponsorship to, like, of my content? And like that's always been my biggest worry. That's why I was like, right, at least in poker, I can, like, if I'm a certain standard, then I'll always be able to make that money in poker. Yes, but then I'd need to grind like 24/7 for that. And anyone watching that plays full time without any other form of income, fucking hats off to him. And like,
Yeah.
obviously, I'm good friends with a lot of people that do that. I personally couldn't do that. It'd be too much stress. Like, it's too much stress anyway for me playing tournaments like for full time, like with then guaranteed income from a sponsorship. Like, I've never done it without that. So I always say hats off to anyone that does that, because especially with like seeing people like in America, it's like obviously in the UK we don't pay tax on gambling income,
Yeah.
but like people in America do, so they're instantly got to like have a bigger ROI. I mean, like, I don't understand how they do it.
Wouldn't be for me either, mate. I just, yeah, like you said, I couldn't even begin to imagine doing it and needing to win. Like, honestly, I wouldn't have it in me. I'd have to just get a regular job. I think that would be much better for me.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with having a regular job, obviously. Just like, I just
we
prefer it.
obviously that's what I was going to ask you. I was like, when people say, "Oh, I want to give poker full time a go," I always say, and we can talk about how you started before you got 888 sponsorship. Like, I done a year. People don't say I done a year of streaming, playing micro stakes before then doing the challenge that I did, and then before then getting a sponsorship. And people may say, "Oh, you got sponsored straight away." No, I never. Like, I was streaming for a year straight of like 5 viewers watching me, nothing. You know what I mean? So like, how long were you streaming before, or creating content before then 888 come? And then second question, what did that feel like when you then got your sponsorship from 888?
Feels like ages ago, man. It really does. I mean, we touched on it earlier. It was like, so I was working my family's business, and it was a business that couldn't stay open during COVID. It was obviously, there was no chance. So I was furloughed, and it was like, so it was the start of 2020. I'd just come back from Vegas, actually. Went to Vegas with all my friends, and we literally were on the last flight home before everything went to shit. The last, like, we were out there as we basically watched Vegas close, like, while we were there. And then we went home on the last flight home, and that was it. And then everything was closed forever. So we got back, and Warzone just got released. And I was like, right, this is class. I'm at home getting paid to play Warzone, and I like picked back into games, and me and my friends were just, everyone knows it was the glory days. You just sit there and play COD all day. But at the same time, I was really, really enjoying playing COD. I think it was like the best version of COD since COD 4, and easily. In fact, in terms of like camaraderie and like enjoyment, it may even be better. The game wasn't as good, but it was just the way that it fell. It was perfect. So I was playing.
That's what I was going to ask about. Like, what was you said COD 4 was your kind of favorite COD, but so Warzone was like your favorite? Would you say memories?
COD 4 was my favorite COD. Warzone was my favorite time.
Yeah.
In COD.
See, I never got into Warzone.
Yeah,
That, again, because I had to just give up game. I was like, I get too into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I was grinding Warzone like 10 hours a day. It was the greatest thing of all time. But then I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go back to work and I'm just not going to be able to handle that. And because I'm just going from full-time Warzone to full-time back to work. And obviously I knew it was coming, but I was like, I can't sit here all day playing. I mean, I can, but I can't sit here all day playing Warzone. So I was like, look, just to make myself feel even remotely productive, I'll play poker because like that's something I've always said that I'll do if I had time, but I just don't have the time, you know. Like now I had the time and I still wasn't doing it, so I was like, that's not quite good enough for me. If I just play for an hour or so a day with my friend Bean, some people may know who Bean is. We would just play for an hour. We got an Upswing membership, and we'll just like try and like figure it out a little bit and make ourselves feel a little bit useful, and then we'll earn our COD time. So we used to do like an hour or two, and I would play, and I'd get shock, absolutely irate. Like I couldn't handle certain things in the game. So instead of just like hitting my head against the wall and like raging off like on my own in my room, I decided to just record myself playing and talk, because obviously I had a microphone from playing games and stuff. So I was like, I'll just talk about me playing. These videos are still available. I call it the quarantine grind. And I would just play like 3 tables of microstakes and I would just upload it as it was, raw, talking absolute, but I haven't watched these back. It's probably horrendous. People still comment on them like, by the way, here, what are you doing? I'm like, mate, it was 4 years ago. Like, come on. Literally 5 years ago coming up on now. And I uploaded them, and there's like 1,000 people, and then like 100 subscribers. It's like, sorry, like why? I'm literally just talking. The only reason I did it was so that I didn't tilt off my nut, because I knew it was going to be on the internet if I did, which is completely ironic if you consider where my career has gone to now, because that is literally my career. It's just to rage about poker on the internet. But originally, I did the content in order to not rage, and then slowly I had to go back to work. So I had these videos that were just sitting there. I had to go back to work. We got closed again, and I came back. I was like, right, I'm going to do a month. It was a month apparently closed. It was just before it was like November, if you remember. Everything closed again.
Yeah.
And I had a month, and I was like, I'm going to make this series called Punt or No Punt. I'm going to do like loads of videos. And I got really into it, and then we had to go back to work again, and then we closed a month again later after December, when we had like it was like the Essex virus part, like it was like a different strain, and we closed again, and I was like, right, this is it. By the time we go back next time, I'm going to have a proper platform. And I got my friend Ben to do some videos with me. He carried my subscribers up to like 1,000, and I was streaming. I got a camera for Christmas, and I was streaming pretty much every day for like 6 or 7 hours a day, just grinding. And I was making a highlights video of that the next day, putting that up, and then streaming for another 7. I have no idea where I found that energy from.
Were you editing the videos yourself?
Yeah, I was doing everything myself.
Yeah.
And I had that energy because I was so determined that it was going to be my life. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe. So I was streaming to like 5-10 people. I thought that was amazing. But it was like quite quick that I went from like 10 to 50 in like a few months, because nobody was streaming Microstakes Cash. And when I say nobody, I mean absolutely nobody was streaming Microstakes Cash. So it wasn't because I was good. It was just because I fell into a role that no one else was doing. It was a completely now there is loads of people obviously playing cash, and there's loads of microstakes content. But back then I was making educational videos on my channel. You can still find those as well. I daren't watch those, but I was making educational videos, and they were getting like 30,000 views because nobody was making anything. Even if you disagreed with me, it was good to watch them because you could, but I was the only one doing it. And because of that, and the videos I did with Ben, and the stream that I was doing all the time, A-State, this is a very long answer by the way, A-State came to me and said, do you want to talk to us about possibilities? And I was like, absolutely. I'd just gone back to work, and I was like, amazing. And they said, what do you think about this? This is how it would look. We're building a new team, and we want you to be one of the first people. And I was like, I just can't see any way how I could possibly say no to this. So I had to say to my family, look, I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna go and play poker and into a camera. And they were like, okay. But now they obviously get it. Thankfully I made the right decision. At the time it was very scary, because it was like, I'm leaving a very stable position and career to do this. But it was well worth it.
It's
And
mad how things happen, isn't it? Like that.
yeah.
And were your family like supportive at first, or were they hesitant? Or
At very first, they were like, I think they weren't concerned about me so much. They were concerned about the business because I didn't have I was like a assistant manager and I was fairly well ingrained into the business at this point. So I think they were concerned about what it was going to do to the business mainly. But then after that immediate, oh shit, it was like you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And now they could not be more supportive of it. Like clearly I've made the right decision and I'm just like a different, happier, most of the time happier person, and they can understand that it's just something I had to do. So it's all good.
Yeah, that's class. I was the same. I was a family business, and there was like some effort. To be honest, my mum and dad always supported because they understood poker, but then the other maybe family members or whatever, or were kind of like not too sure about that because the people do just see poker as gambling, obviously still. But then obviously when it's like now it's guaranteed income like this, and also it's like this is what I enjoy, this is what I want to do. Like then they quickly like obviously yeah accept because like why it's obviously a hard thing because as a family business you probably want to grow up, you want to keep it in the family, blah blah blah, but at the end of the day like you can't force, or I don't think you should force anyone to do what they don't want to do, you know what I mean? And obviously worries about obviously in your case was the worries of the kind of business like replacing you type of thing. And mine wasn't kind of like that, but it was more just like, no, we want to kind of keep it in the family. And it's like, yeah, but I don't, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, mine just wanted me to do it so they could retire earlier. This selfish.
Waiting for that big pink for them to retire.
Exactly. Well, I'm not going to be giving them fucking chunks of money if I win the main, am I?
I know. See, yeah, 15 million it is for first. Yeah. You're not getting any though.
Yeah, no, I probably would sort them out if I'd pay some stuff back. I definitely owe in some regard.
And what? Just a quick one that come to mind then. Anyone that is in a similar spot that we were, obviously does a full-time job or just come out of uni or whatever, and does want to do poker full-time. What would you? I was going to say, would you recommend them do it? And I probably know your answer, where it's like, no, because it's so hard. But if someone really is so determined and loves the game, like, how would you advise them on what to do?
God, well, that's a horrible question to answer because, like, I'm being in my situation, I don't want to be like, no, because my life is amazing and I wouldn't trade it for anything. But no,
yeah, like because you've seen how hard it is to kind of get to that point.
When I did it, like I said, like I didn't have to be that good to be noticed because I was the only one doing it. You now would have to be very, very good at either content or poker. Like if you're a very good poker player, that's fine. Like, you know, you can always give it a go and then do what you wanted to do originally afterwards. But like to commit big time to it is a huge risk. And like content, like there's not that many people that are doing obviously what we're doing. It's not that easy to now just to swim yourself into the content world and stream when there's so many other streamers. You might be genuinely 3, 4, 5 times better than me at streaming and content, and that's still not matter. I mean, maybe you'd find a way in, but like the discovery on like YouTube and stuff like that is so hard, man. Like it's so hard to like ingrain yourself into what's already like quite established. Like you don't really see, unfortunately, and I wish it was different, you don't really see new people coming into poker content, really, unless they were already poker players and they have that like Ben's doing content now, Ben a Bad Beat. He was in my channel a bunch. He's already extremely well respected, had like a 2+2 thread. He can obviously come in and make a video because everyone knows who he is. Like Gazzy B went from being a player to making a bunch of content. Obviously he's doing really well, and they make amazing content and they are amazing players because they spent most of their life studying the game and being really good at it. If they had been there when I started, I would not have a job. Simple as that. So that is now the bar. There was no bar before. I just walked over the bar. Now the bar is above my head, and I would never get over it if I wasn't already here. So, you know, you have to be honest with yourself. Like, this is now the reality of it. It's competitive. It didn't used to be.
Yeah, and obviously we both had to find our niche. Like yours was micro stakes cash. It was like Did you just kind of discover yourself doing that, or did you actually see that there was a niche and be like, oh, actually, this is a niche that I could do and stand out? No, you just
No,
did it.
it was just I just did it, mate. I
Yeah.
wanted to play cash because that's what I understood and liked from back in when I used to play. I'd had like a 4-year break from playing because being working full time, I just didn't have the headspace for like playing poker. I would rather just play games. And yeah, that's what I liked doing. So I made those videos. I didn't even think, when I first, you have to understand, I didn't make these videos to get myself into content creation. It was just to hold myself accountable for what I was doing at a poker table. Yeah. I'd never in a million years, if you'd told me that those videos would lead me to be where I am now, I'd have thought you were absolutely out of your fucking mind.
That's what I'd recommend to people that do want to try. Just do it. Just try it, because you just don't know. Like, I think definitely the best spot is having a job and then trying to get as good at poker as possible. Because, like you said, I think the examples that it's been so hard. I think the main examples of people that have come into poker and been a success is the people that have been really good at poker. Because obviously, yes, like you said, the examples you've done then, I can think of an Ape Stars, I can think of a, I don't know, like I guess Ben CB, but he was kind of doing content anyway. Trying to think, Daniel Peterson at the moment is a new one. He super high stakes guy. Like, they can come in and get the viewers because they're again, their niche is streaming super high stakes, whether it's cash or tournaments, right? And people want to watch them. Or then if maybe you're a success at content outside of poker and you've got the personality for it, then maybe that can correlate. And that's what I was going to ask you, actually. Did you create any COD content or any gaming content before poker?
COD content. I recorded a few Warzone games back before. They're probably unlisted on my YouTube channel because I put them on my YouTube channel before I made the videos about like playing poker. A few games where I was just like, were like the really good ones, I would just upload them, but no one watched them because, again, like, I could be I was pretty damn good. Like, I was very good at Warzone, and I could upload a amazing gameplay where I'm laser beaming everyone from across the map and hard carrying the game and winning, coming first, whatever. I could upload that and get 8 views because it's so fucking saturated. Yeah. So unless you're doing something different to the other people that are also doing that, because, again, I was better than the rest, but not as good as the top. So if anyone does that and is slightly better than me, and I'm doing nothing else apart from like I'm not entertaining or like, I don't have like a niche other than just playing, no chance. So, I realized quickly that was never going to happen. So I just stopped uploading those. But when I uploaded poker stuff, like I said, I had no designs on it being a full-time thing. One day I looked and I was like, that's quite a few views and subscribers. Like, really? Is this people what they want to see? So I just threw some more test videos out there, and yeah, it was what they wanted to see, even though it was me talking shit. So yeah, thanks, guys.
So punt or no punt, so you can check that out on Easty's YouTube channel. And then you talked about being there. That they were the first videos that I watched from you on YouTube.
Yeah.
Tell people what are them type of videos?
Who's Bean?
Yeah.
Bean. So it's quite topical at the moment because we just did a third Bean stream, the 500 Zoom Beam streams that we do. That's the third we've done in 5 years. So they're very spaced out, and I keep them very special because they are special and they're expensive as well. This one was particularly expensive. Bean is my best friend, and I met him through work about a decade ago. He came in to speak to my manager about a product, and he's a salesman, a hardcore salesman, and he came in and she was like, he was like, I'm going to come back in, yada yada, we'll talk about this, we'll talk about that. And she came over to me and she went, if that guy comes back in, you're dealing with him. So I was like, class. So he came back in and he was like, yeah. I was like, oh mate, so how are you getting on? What do you do? He's like, oh, I like a bit of poker, I like a bit of COD. And I went, oh, and that was it, mate. That was it. We used to go up to the casino every single Wednesday to play the £20 deep, cheap, weak and steep stack or whatever it was. And we had the best time, and we would just like talk about all sorts of shit. And yeah, from there, we're just best mates. He comes to my family Christmases. Like he's family. So people don't understand this. They think he's just someone I pick off the street every 2 years and bring onto the show. And then when I'm mean to him, they're all like, "You can't say that to Bean." I'm like, I can. Like, you should have seen him over the board games we were playing with my mum and dad over Christmas. He was giving me all sorts of shit. I can say whatever I want to this guy. You don't understand. So yeah, Bean's basically just this. He's a very, very funny guy. And we just thought it'd be funny to chuck him in at the deep end at 500 Zoom and just like let him. He's like a Carl Pilkington of poker. You just listen to him speak, and it's just funny.
Like, that's exactly what he reminded me of.
Yeah,
exactly that.
You hear him talking. You're just like the stuff that comes out of this guy's mouth. Like, he's just like an absolute character. And listening to play 500 Zoom and just fit, like, he doesn't play poker ever apart from in these games, and he's just like saying stuff about the game that's just like way out of whack. And it's so funny because he's in the most competitive pool going. So it's like this juxtaposition of like this guy hasn't got a clue what he's talking about, talking through hands. It's just I can't believe how well it did, but like I understand like the market for it. Like, it's just it doesn't. This is the thing. Like, if you are going to do content, you better be able to make something that no one else is going to do, and no one else can be Bean. Like, it's just, you're not going to find another Bean. So we just had the perfect, and obviously Ben in the booth as well. Like, it just ended up being like really, the last one was a bit disappointing in a few ways, but we had 800 concurrent viewers on both channels. So it was just again, if you told me that was going to happen, I don't even know where to begin with that. Like, but yeah, it's just if I was to describe Bean, it'd just be the Carl Pilkington of poker. If you want to check out Eddie Bean's stream, watch the first one. It's just
all on your YouTube channel.
Yeah. If you go to my channel and go to most viewed or most popular, whatever the tab is, just watch the top one. And if it's an hour of your time, but you'll see exactly what I mean.
Would you say that's the best content you've created?
It's either that. Yeah, I'd say that is the best content I've created because it's so unique. I love Punt or No Punt, but like viewership wise, you can't compete with Bean. That one's got like 55k now. I want to say the first one, which is wild. But in terms of like singular piece of content, it has to be the worst session of all time. I basically was doing a 10NL challenge where I had to win $1,000 at 10NL. It took me 3 years. I have now done it, but I ran in that challenge like you would not believe. It was just like everyone wanted to come at me, and you know, they would just 5-bet jam like ace to 8 deuce off, or like limp 5-bet 6 deuce off, and like get there against my aces. It was just non-stop. Like, the content was just a never-ending flow. And I played this session where I ran 10 near 11 binds below EV, and it was completely and totally insane. And I said at the time, like, I don't think you're ever going to be able to replicate this, because it wasn't just the fact that I'd run so bad, and everyone was like, "Oh, this happens to me all the time." I was like, yeah, but does it really? Because if you think about it, not only do you have to run that bad, you also have to get people just banging it in with like any two. Like, you cannot. So like, in terms of uniqueness, it also is pretty high up there, because you can't replicate my situation, and even if you could replicate the hands, you wouldn't lose them all. So, and then a lot of comments that watch it are like, I put this video on and thought, you know, this guy's talking shit, but then by the end of it I was like, oh my fucking god, like, it really is the worst session of all time. So if that's the only title I have, then I'll take it, I guess.
That's what I like about it though, because it's like that's always one of the questions was going to be like, well, what's your worst session of all time, or what's your biggest downswing? And like, I like that's the side of the content side I do like, because even if I do have a really bad session or whatever, or yeah, I mean, my worst downswings, at least I'm getting content from it, and at least then that's going towards my contract to then obviously get money, because that's what I mean about, like, if that's just your full-time job and that's your income you've got to rely on to pay the bills, like, I don't know how the fuck, like, professional poker players, man, have got to have some fucking mindset on them to like do that full time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it could never ever be me. I'm glad that this is that's why I'm even more happy to just be like, I'm a content creator, because I'm not cut out to be a poker player. Just simple as that.
So let's finish on poker before we get to other topics. What then are your plans for present and future in terms of, obviously sounds like your main focus is on content creation side of poker. What are your kind of ambitions? What are your plans for, like I said, present and future in poker?
So this year, I'm just determined not to be so hard on myself outside the game. I want to. Last year, I was like, I felt guilt that I didn't study. I felt like I was letting myself down or like not taking the most of opportunity or whatever. But this year, I'm literally just gonna be like, no, that's fine. You just need to play when you play to enjoy the game. Don't worry about trying to compete. Just worry about the content. Focus on that. The live events I've got coming up, I'm super, super excited to be a part of. Obviously, it's the main thing. And really focus on getting a few more commentary opportunities. They say really, really good with me with that. They have given me some chances already. And I'm doing the entire Madrid trip. I'm hosting the entire commentary gig for that, which is a huge, huge step.
Is that your first kind of event you're doing, the whole of it?
Yeah. So one of the guys can't make it. That usually is the David Tuckman. Obviously, everyone will know that. Replacing David Tuckman, by the way, I am not a like for like. Obviously, an absolute legend. But I've done some with him. I've done some with Nick Wellfall, and I'm trying to pick up and what they're good. And they give me advice and stuff, like having advice from two of the behemoths of commentary. I can never go wrong, really. So. I'm doing the whole of Madrid, which I'm so in a way, like the fact that I'm doing that and I'm not playing. This is the first trip I've been on that I won't be playing poker at all. I'm not playing poker at all. It's kind of made me realize that I'm not really a poker player. Poker is my life and my job, but it's not to play the game. It's to be around it and to, make from it what I can. And that doesn't need to be money directly. It just needs to be a part of my life, and in many ways that provides a lot more longevity as a career than winning a couple of sessions, so I'm going to be doing the commentary in Madrid. Hopefully I do a decent job. I'm doing a bunch of commentary already in the UKPL just to cover the guys that work really hard. Tower and Jay, they are slammed most of the time. They're like doing weeks on end. So I try and hop in and give them like dinner breaks whenever I can, just to give myself a little bit more experience. So commentary is like the number one thing that I want to focus my energies into, apart from obviously my channel, which is the main thing. Making some vlogs. Hopefully I get a couple of good runs when I do play in the UKPLs and stuff. And yeah, just really knuckle down on the fact that I am a content creator and make the best content I can.
Yeah.
Don't worry about anything else.
Could you see yourself doing commentary full time at some point in the future?
I think that is the new main goal that I have. Yeah. I think it's something that I'm better suited to. It's something that it's like full circle kind of thing. Every single game that I've ever played, I've ended up commentating it. Every one of them. And I think it's because I just love it. Yeah. So, and it's so, if you love something, you're going to make it work. Like, I think some hobbies I have on the side, the amount of time I spend on them because I love them and I know some of the things about them inside out. If I had that passion to study, I'd be the best player in the world. But you can't choose what you're passionate about. Exactly. Yeah, you just have to follow what you are passionate about, and that makes you happy. And if it, unfortunately for me, it isn't studying and going in depth into fucking every single node in poker that makes me happy. It's other things. So that's fine. I just need to be okay with that and just crack on and do what makes me happy.
Yeah, because I think there's definitely I think with all these motivation YouTube guys coming out, it's you need to do certain stuff that you don't enjoy to make progress. But I just don't. I agree to a certain extent in terms of obviously the stuff like the gym and that to build muscle, you do need to break down your muscle to build muscle, right? That's a fact. But stuff like that, if you force yourself to study every single day, which you don't enjoy, you're just going to burn yourself out and you're not going to be able to do it long term. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You have to want to do it. People do want to do it. There are people that genuinely just love getting up and looking into nodes and studying and stuff. And those people will make very good poker players. I will not. And that's fine. It doesn't matter. Everyone's got their own thing that they've got to do. And mine is not playing. And who knows what it ends up being. But right now, I think those are my main, focuses. Let's see if I can make them happen.
Yeah, no, I think we sound similar in that, where I was always just trying to do all these different stuff, and I think just trying different things. But then now it's realizing we're both 4 or 5 years in, where it's no, this year again, this podcast is I tried this when I first kind of got sponsored, but again, it was wasn't consistent with it. didn't really put any focus into it, but I really enjoyed it. And since then, I'm like, I tried that because I enjoyed it. Same with
Yeah.
streaming. Like, I tried streaming because I enjoyed it. And now it's like, right, let's just do things that obviously benefit my sponsorship contracts. This benefits like that, plus it benefits me because like I enjoy it. And this year was like, for me, it was like, right, I'm not enjoying as much just like studying and grinding 24/7. I will do that in the on big online series with live events and stuff, but day to day, let's do stuff like this that I enjoy. And
Yeah.
this might not go anywhere, you know what I mean, but as I enjoy it, and it's something that I want to do. And it sounds like we're similar in that, where it's like I did get bent out a few times in poker over the last few years because I was doing something or doing stuff that like I was trying too much, and I was
Yeah.
also doing stuff like studying every day, putting pressure on myself. Oh, I haven't studied today. I haven't done these. Like, I haven't ran these hands from a session. It's like, yeah, but got to a point where I realized I don't enjoy that. So there's no point in focusing my energy on that. And now I'll focus my energy on the content. And I've realized that because when people, like I said, when people ask me, it's like, do you want to be a poker player more or content? I was like, I want to do both. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I
It's
wanted to
hard to
get
do
to a
both.
point. Yeah, literally. And I was like, no, I can do both. But you can't. Like,
No.
yeah.
Some people can, but like it's hard. It's rare.
I think if you, like you said, you come from a place where you were doing one or the other, so you're a really good poker player, and then you come into poker content creation because
Yeah.
you have that base.
Yeah.
But with both of us was very similar, where we started off at the micro stakes and we had to build both of them together. And I think to be fair, we've done the hard bit in terms of built both of them together.
Yeah.
But then now it's kind of like, for me, and this is a question to you, like for me now, it's like finding different stuff to motivate me, new ideas, stuff like this, the podcast, going to more live events, going to like Brazil. I want to do like some 8 day events to new countries I've never been. That excites me now. Like, do you try and like find things like that, like you said with the commentary now, that you like motivate you to look forward to certain stuff and new things in your career and life?
Yeah. I mean, I've learned that it's just a lot better to just even if less comes of it, like even if it would be more beneficial to you to study and be miserable, it's better to be happy and be maybe even less successful. Like some videos I make that don't do so well, like it doesn't matter. Like if I had a good time making them, enjoyed them. Some don't do so well, and I hated making them, and I just don't do those anymore. So why is it not the same for when I'm doing something I don't like, that like in studying poker or like battling higher stake? Well, I say higher stakes, but like 100 now, which was the highest I was playing. I was not having a good time playing it. It was stressful, it was difficult, and I was only doing it so that because people wanted me to play 100L. I need to want to do something. So I'm this year the motivator is doing things I want to do, and there are a lot of things in poker that I want to do. I'm very, very excited about doing it, and like you said, finding things that motivate me, like improving as a commentator where I can, and taking all those opportunities that are available, and improving as a content creator, like and making better vlogs, and being better at scripts, and like exploring the different kind of vlogs that you can make, and hopefully at the same time, I really do want to put together a deep run in one of these live events. Like I had a taste at the end of last year, obviously got fucked, but like there was a little taste. Do you know what I mean?
Do you feel like you're getting the tournament bug slightly from that?
I wouldn't say I get the bug, but like I would say that I'm a much more confident player in live tournaments than I was. Like I'm still the bit is still, it's not a bit. Like if we watch any of my vlogs or listen to my scripts, I'm just basically just saying I don't have a clue in every spot. But that is kind of the idea. Like it's just like I haven't got a clue. Here's me trying to play a tournament badly. Like
I think people can relate to that though, because most people that are either watching or most people that go and play these tournaments live
Yeah.
series are like they don't study. They you know what I mean? But they go for fun. Again, it's like that's what I think. Obviously, at first, both of us playing micros, you can relate. Like I've built from $400 bankroll to what is now. So people, I think, can relate to that. And then when you go into these live events, and showing your hands, I think it's nice for people to kind of see, okay, so like, you know what I mean? Like in terms of they can relate to that.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of refreshing to just like maybe watching a vlog where you're like, oh, let's see what this guy does here, and then he's like, and I'm just like, I haven't got a clue. I just fucking thrashed it in and hope for the best. Like literally, like that's all I can do because it's all I know. But like at the end of the day, it's the tournament. Anybody can just bang it off. Like it could happen. Like I barely won a pot in Reading, like, and I came 11th. I won a couple of pots. Like I didn't win an all in the entire tournament, and I came 11th. Like, as soon as I was all in, I was out. But like,
Yeah.
it's like you see people like getting knocked off. You see the ladders start to get a bit more serious. It's fun. Like I enjoy that, and like just a little glimmer of hope is always going to be fun to enjoy. Like and thankfully, I'm not financially at risk when I'm attempting these things. So there's not any pressure. I've just got to make the vlog afterwards, no matter what happens, and it's just a free hit basically, and just like I'm super excited to play more tournaments. But like if you offer me a chance to commentate one over, which I've just had the opportunity to had the offer, I'm going to take the commentary because I understand. Yeah, I understand now that what I enjoy is much more important than what I have to do. Which I don't have to. At the end of the day, I can do whatever I like.
I think that's what it's so society as a whole not now. Like I think it's getting better and better because I think like years ago, we realize it's like if you grow up and if you have a family business, you just grow up and you just gotta basically take over the family business. Like that is just what you're like destined to do or you've got to do, right? But now it's like the likes of like you said years ago, there wasn't professional gamers, there wasn't like professional poker streamers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think obviously more with technology coming out, there is more things you can do. But I still do think that, like you said before, it's not a bad thing having a job, having like I always say 9 to 5 job. But for me, it wasn't for me. You know what I mean? And like I doing this podcast, getting different people on that have like people say escape the matrix. Like people but that's staying in the matrix to people which probably most people are. That's okay, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people probably do enjoy that, but the people that do want to escape that and don't want to do that, I think there's different options of that. I think that's why obviously podcasting and is becoming obviously a lot more like popular, where different people from different backgrounds are like giving advice on and telling their story. And that's why I'm asking you about like what would you do if you were starting out? Or I think the main thing is doing something you enjoy. And if you're sat here listening to this podcast or watching this podcast and you're doing a job that you don't enjoy, whatever that is, you actually may be sitting here and on paper have your dream job, but you actually don't enjoy it. It's like, I think you only live one life, in my opinion, and you can try different things. And I think people's mindset a lot of the time, whether they're not supported from their friends or the family or just society, and that's what I love about poker is it is definitely open-minded to like everyone kind of like do their own thing and stuff. I think just try different things, man. Like we didn't set off me like, right, we're going to become professional poker players. We just did it. We started it both in COVID because we enjoyed it. You know what I mean? And if we didn't enjoy it, like you now, like I want to transition towards more YouTube, towards doing this podcast, rather than just like playing full time, because I realized studying and playing full time isn't for me anymore. Like I'll do it. I'll stream for an average 4 days a week now and create content from that. But when I was honest with myself, the content is what excites me and what motivates me and what I enjoy. And obviously now the same with you. You realize the content is the commentary. You know what I mean? So like I said, if long way of saying it, if you are watching this right now, just in my opinion, live one life. Just try different things, and whether that's trying it when you do outside your full time job. I always say on a weekend, try poker. If you want to try poker, try playing it on a weekend, either live poker or online poker. Stream in the morning times and the weekends when people aren't streaming as much. Because if you do it in the evening time, there's going to be so many people streaming where you're just never going to get recognized. Or when you get to a point where you're starting to see a bit of progress in something and you're making a little bit of money, then you could go down like part time in your job. Like I would never recommend quitting your job, even though I did that. But I did it like with living in my parents and not paying any bills and not having any risk. You know what I mean? And I would have been going back to a full-time job. Obviously, you were able to quit your job because you got an opportunity from ATT, right? So, I think, yeah, like I said, that was a long way of me saying you live one life. And I just think doing something full time that you don't enjoy, man, it's just, I think people are realizing now that you don't have to do that anymore. You know what I
No.
mean? Like, you don't. There's so many different options of making money now.
Yeah, there really is. Just follow what you enjoy, and you can make what you enjoy your life if you
Mate, if we can
are
fucking do
passionate.
it, fucking hell, you know what I mean?
If I can do it, anyone can do it.
No,
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm not. I got all right GCSEs, and then I went to sixth form, done shit in sixth form, and then uni dropped out after a year. Like, people again with uni, it's like, oh, you've got to go to uni, you've got to get this, and it's like, nah, you don't. I don't agree. Obviously, if you're doing certain stuff, you do need a degree or you do need to go to college. Like, my parents were like, yeah, get an education, blah blah blah, but they trusted me where after it I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't enjoy that uni course, or I don't enjoy this job. Like, fish and chip shop was my family business and made good money from it. That they did, but I was like, that's not for me. I just don't enjoy it. You know what I mean? That you obviously enjoy it because you've done it all your life, but for me, I don't enjoy it. And that's when I have kids and stuff, I'll be like, you do whatever you want to do. Obviously get your education first, but then you go and do whatever you want to do. And I think that's what's amazing now in society is like, you can, especially online now, like being in a spot now of doing poker full time, it still hasn't fully hit me that I'm doing this full time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you got that? Like, I've definitely still got that like imposter syndrome where it's like, how, like, especially when I was watching like that game of gold I was on, I was like, I still
That was
can't
nuts.
believe, like,
Yeah.
how was that me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think the one time where I was like, come on now, when I sat down for my first main event, I was like, come on guys, this
Hey,
is a joke.
I was gonna ask you about that. What was that when you were playing the WSOP main event for
You
the
were
first
there
ever
with
tournament?
me. You were there with me.
Yeah, no, I know I was there, but what was for me, that was on my bucket list to play. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, you're not coming from tournaments. Was that a bucket list thing,
No.
or
No,
no?
because
No.
what do you mean? Yeah, I used to watch every single main event, and I could tell you a lot of the hands from every single main event. I absolutely loved watching them back, like the Golden Age, Jamie Gold, the Paul Merson, not Paul Merson,
Paul Merson.
Paul Merson didn't win the main event. Greg Merson was my favorite year. Like, he was just crushing everybody. That was when I was like, holy shit, you can just be amazing at this game, I guess.
Who's your favorite? Just a quick one. Who's your favorite WSOP winner?
Greg Merson.
Greg Merson.
Yeah. 100%, not even close.
Yeah. What year was that?
2012. It's because he won the six max, just pinged the six max, and then late reg the main and won the main. Like, that was when I realized it was like, okay, you can't just do that and not. And I was watching his hand, and he was dominating. Like, obviously he had a few all into it, but if you watch Greg Merson's year, like, you can get Poker Go and watch that 2012. He fucking crushed everyone, man. He was so much better than everyone else. And I think that's when I realized, I was like, holy shit, you can just be just better than everyone else. This is just crazy.
So when you were going and playing for the first time then, like, because for me, it was bucket list. I was like, I just felt, even just walking into the room, I was like, this just feels magical. Like, how did it feel for you?
Yeah, it was nuts. Like, nothing like it. And it was never a dream to do, because I think you want them to be somewhat attainable, and in my mind, it was never going to happen. So never even considered it. And then I won the package through, because they did I don't know if you remember this, but they did a Vegas Dream package. So it was me against all the other streamers, and we did 6 weeks of sit and goes to decide who would go.
No, I didn't realize.
If you find the moment where I got qualified, it was 6 of us, and whoever won over 6 weeks of it was like a table. It was pretty brutal, to be honest with you, because we were against our friends, and we all swapped.
So who was the streamers?
At the time, it was Andre Cos, Rene Mastermix, Josh Manley, yeah, Jordan Banfield, and New Dave, and me. So 6 of us.
First got a WSOP package, second got nothing.
Yep. And it was just for like, it was crazy, man. And I managed to somehow claw out a few victories and get the package. And wow, I mean, it wasn't. I sat down and I was like, "Come on, dudes, this is not really. This is just not." And then playing and like I was at risk a few times at level 1. Like there was some horrible spots. There will never be anything like decisions that you make in the main event. Like I think I might have even gotten comfortable last year. It sounds absolutely insane, but it was my 3rd main event last year, and I made some fucking wild plays. Like I was crazy, and I'm pretty proud of myself for some of the things that I did in that tournament. Maybe some of them not so proud. I folded kings pre-flop with an ace exposed.
Well, I was going to ask you about that hand. That's what I was going to go to. So talk me through that hand, and obviously potentially create a little clip from this or a short.
Yeah,
and we
I can
can
give you the
actually
video.
we can I'll link the video in the description, but I will
I'll give you the clip if you want.
Yeah. Give us
so,
the clip. Yeah, we can show and then obviously talk me through it, because when I watched it, I was like, that is such a sick. It's actually one of the sickest spots I think I've seen.
It has to be the sickest spot, and the reason it's so sick, I'll get into it, but there is the reason why it's so sick. But I don't think, like, again, the unique situation, and it, again, got loads of views from it. This is what I'm talking about. Like, if you have unique things that you can build on, you're going to get loads of views. Like, I had loads of views on that video. It's one of my most viewed vlog. Well, I think it is my most ever viewed vlog, because you aren't going to see what happened to me probably ever again, at least recorded. I can't imagine it happening again. So, under the gun gets dealt one card, and the second card flies off the table. Ace of hearts. I'm in the big blind. Everyone's like, "Oh, hope the other one's not an ace." And then he gives it back. Ace of hearts on the top of the deck, and they get another card. And then they go, "Yeah," but I was like, I'm not going to read too much into their reaction, because they're just going to pretend they had another. I think everyone just sort of pretends they had another one anyway.
Yeah.
So they mark, it folds around to cut off who opens. The small blind, who is like a guy that I've been chatting to all day, his name is Seth, absolute legend, really nice guy. I've got him on Instagram and we exchange messages every now and again, actually. He 3-bets the small blind. Now, he hadn't been that active. I wake up with kings in the big blind, and I'm like, here we go. Like, there's a dead ace. Let's go. And we're level 3 of the main on day 1. And unless you played the main, it's really hard to describe how little people want to put their money in. They are not putting their stacks in with anything. No. I 4-bet kings to a reasonable size, 11k, and we've got like 50k each, just below starting, which is about 100 big blinds.
Yeah,
and cut off folds, and he snap jams.
So it was cut off opens. He 3-bet small blind. You 4-bet.
Yeah, he 5-bet rips in without even
like
blinking.
100 bigs.
Yeah. So there's obviously an ace dead, and I'm sitting there with kings, and I'm thinking for a long, long time, and it's become quite clear to the table that I've got kings because I am taking forever. And the reason it's such an disgustingly sick spot is because queens is the easiest fold in the entire world, and aces is the easiest call in the entire world, and then kings is just horrible because they never have queens ever, no matter what my YouTube comment section says. They don't have ace king. They're not shoving ace king when there's a dead ace. They either have the last 2 kings, or they have the last 2 combos of aces. They have the one combo of kings, or they have a couple of combos of aces. And I just decided that even if if that's the bottom, I'm gonna go for a chop. I'd rather just fold my 10 or 20 bigs and just move on to another spot. I just don't think it's I don't think it can possibly be a profitable spot, even though there's a dead ace. The dead ace kind of makes it like even less likely that anything's like going on. Like, I don't.
Yeah, because it makes it less likely they've got aces, but then it makes it less likely they've got combos of ace kings on it. So when you did you work out the combos of how many like kings, ace king they can have compared to?
I decided that they only had kings or aces. That was my in-game read on the situation. If anyone's got queens or ace king there, you can have it. I do not care. I don't think anyone's going to 5-bet rip ace king suited in the main in that spot.
What was the information you had on him? What type of player was he?
He's fairly tight. He wasn't a professional.
He wasn't.
No, he's a family man, just a good guy. Like, hadn't put a chip in the pot. Had folded a pretty tight hand previously, and we'd spoken about it. there's no way he was getting out of line. And people were saying he had queens. And I said to him on Instagram, people are saying you could have had queens. He's like, lol. Just never in a million years are you going to have queens in this spot.
Because also he knows there's an exposed ace, so then he knows it's less likely you've got ace king.
Yeah.
So then you
I can just have aces.
Kings. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So when he was doing that with queens, then there's less combos of ace king. So actually, yeah, he wouldn't do that with queens.
I just decided that it was a chop. It was going to be a chop at best.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't be asked. And
so before you say the result of what he had, when you spoke to players about this, like who were the different, like what was kind of like the, or when you ran it, like I think that, to be honest, I don't think having the solution of running it in the solver because it's such a unique spot. But what was like some good players' like opinion on it?
I asked Weasel straight away, and that's in the vlog, and he was just trying to answer, and he just couldn't answer. He was just like, I just don't know. I don't know. Maybe the exposed ace, and he would say like, just got to stick here, and then he's like, no, I don't know. Like he's like, I cannot answer. And everyone I spoke to that's good at the game and understands the game and understands most importantly, understands the main event, are all like, that's just the worst spot I've ever seen. I don't even know what to tell you. Maybe stick it in, maybe don't. I just don't care what you do.
That's what I mean. That's what's so unique as a tournament, because it's like it's the softest 10k you're ever gonna play, and then but it's like, I know everyone knows that like under 100 bigs, like you're always getting kings in, but then that was such a unique spot where I think if that was a sicko professional, then yeah, but then even a sicko professional is gonna know the ace is exposed, and then yeah, it's not gonna snap jam. Yeah, it's just that's why it's the sickest spot.
I don't know, man. I just decided to I think folding is just best. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I folded and he showed the other two kings and we move on. It's all good.
Yeah.
And everyone in YouTube comments and Instagram comments is like, obviously cool. What are you doing? Put yourself in a 10k main on day one when you've flown all the way out there to play one tournament. And then snap call it off like you say you're going to do. Piss off.
It was like game of golf for me. It was like when you're watching it back, you don't realize until you're in that spot. Like you're sat there playing against Daniel Negreanu and he's fucking bluffing the shit out of you, but you're not meant to know that. You've got It was like it was that hand where it was a 4 to a straight, so any ace was a straight. Yeah. And I had the 9, which was the bottom straight. And it's like, oh, easy call, you've got a straight. And it's like, yeah, but until you're in that pressure, jet lag to fuck, because we flew out to South Korea, playing against literally my idol growing up, like number one, other than fucking out in poker, like Gerard. And I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and I'll ask you about this question actually. It was like, if you sit down in a bar with 3 people in the world who would it be, past or present? It was like Jurgen Klopp, Steven Gerrard, and it was probably Daniel Negreanu. Like it would have been. I mean, I've met him now, and I'm actually like not friends, but you know what I mean. If he saw me, like know me, give me a hug and that, like that's mad. So to be sat there playing against them, TV lights, fucking Maria Ho there, like about 20 people around. I'm like, until you're in that spot, you don't realize, man. Like it's so easy to comment on a YouTube video and go, should have done this. But like you don't realize until you're in that moment, do you?
Mate, I mean, how can you possibly go? This is like, there's no easy decision without the nuts in those kind of situations. Like you just don't have easy decisions. Even with the nuts, you're like, like if I have aces there, I'm gonna vomit and put it in. Like it's 8, I can still lose. Like it probably got kings and it's gonna have 2 outs, and I don't have a redraw if I have aces because it's a dead one. I'm still gonna be sick all over myself. Like these things are horrible to. I mean, obviously it's the best opportunity in the world, but like. Yeah. Mate, it doesn't matter what you're in. Like I bluffed for my entire life and got called for a chop. It was the weirdest spot of my life. That
was a sick hand as well, actually.
It was the sickest bluff I've ever tried in my life, and it was in the main event. And someone spent about 20 seconds just like, yeah, cool. And I was like, oh, are you in then? And she's like, shows ace jack. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean chop? Like, how can, like, I'd never bluff in any, like, it's just really ridiculous. Like, it was just the wackiest, man. Obviously it didn't cash, but like, it was some of the hands in that. I don't think I'll ever see anything like that again.
It is just the sickest tournament in the world, man, isn't it? Because like, I always think as well, I'm like, I remember playing the another 10K. I think it was the WPT last year or the year before. Mate, there was this guy, right? And do you know when you sit down at a table and you know they're going to be out within an hour? And it's like, this is a $10,000 buy-in. And he sat there playing it like it's a £20 nightly in fucking Reading or Liverpool or something. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Honestly, I'm sat there like and he was out within an hour because he was just playing any hand. He was V-pipping 100%, just not folding. I'm just sat there like, this is different, man. Like, I understand now when people say that these buy-ins, these tournaments, like, I need to be playing as much as possible. But I don't have 10 unless I'm like, I've been put in the main when I played the main. I was put in, and same with the WPT. It's like I'm not unless I sold a lot of action.
No way.
Just
never in a
$10,000 buy-in, man. Like but some people, I think in America, obviously a lot of money in that country. It's like people just treat it like it's nothing.
Yeah, there's truckers with 10 bags just lying around. It's like, what do you mean?
Mate. And obviously the WSOP, that's why it's special, because it's just one bullet. You know what I mean? The other ones, is like this one was like you can have, I think, 2 bullets a day, like multiple days, and people just don't give a fuck, man. I'm like, oh my God. It's
I know exactly what you mean.
I always say, like, poker's a mad one where it's like non-professionals. The only game that I can think of when non-professionals pay money to play against professionals. Like, that's not happening in any other sport. Like,
well, it's because anyone can win, literally, theoretically.
Yeah. That's what I mean. And that's what I think for me. It wasn't Johnny Chan. The best WSOP main event winner for me was the one where he was like praying to God and that, and I can't
Jerry
remember his name. Jerry Yang. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
That was wild. He should have been out as well. Bro, like,
he was my favorite, man. He was so good.
Yeah, he was good.
That fella from the UK, was he from Stoke a few years ago? He come 3rd or 4th. He basically wanted to play the WSOP main, retired, and just bought in himself and come like 3rd.
I'm a bit fuzzier on the recent ones, to be honest.
I can't remember what his name was. I'm so bad with names. But he's just a normal fella from Stoke, and he was showing his cards on the final table. I think he got 3rd for like 2 million or 3 million or something like that. Amazing. Class. That's for me what obviously the poker's about. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm excited to just play more events like that. If we speak more about the 80-day events, I've never been to one. What ones are you doing this year? You said you're doing a lot of them, but what are your favorites? If people were going to think about coming to one, what would you say?
It might be a bit late for Madrid. Madrid's my favorite city. The casino is amazing.
We won number
6
there.
Yeah, well,
we won it in Madrid.
Yeah. Definitely that.
I've been to Madrid, but I've only for that, and it was a day trip. Because again, I was working in the family businesses. We had to, because it was, people that know the Isle of Man was the TT races, and it was the middle of TT, and that's the busiest time. So the chippies, because literally there's just like 10 times the population on the island. So we actually, I think I remember taking £700 on my bankroll at the time, which was fucking nearly all of it, to pay for a direct flight to Madrid. But I was like, I don't give a fuck.
Literally,
you know
money's nothing when it comes to that.
Yeah, so I've been to Madrid, but I've not seen Madrid. So you say it's like that's your favorite city?
Yeah, the center. I mean, I fucking hate Real Madrid. Don't get me started on that. But Madrid is lovely. Like, really, really nice. The event's great too, but I think the best event and the time of year for it is the May Barcelona event. It apparently clashes with some online series, which I obviously couldn't give 2 shits about. But I think they've moved it slightly this year, but it's always coincides with the last game of the season as well. So there's been twice where I've had my fucking heart broken in Barcelona. Twice. The Wolves game when they were 2-0 down against Stevie G's Villa. I was when people said they're on their knees, like, and they're like exaggerating. I was literally, ask New Dave, I was literally on my knees in the middle of a pub in Barcelona, literally on my knees.
You have both games up at the same time?
Yeah, one here, and I was in the middle, just swiveling on my knees, and it was the worst experience ever.
Would you say that's your worst, like the lowest you felt from footy from Liverpool? Well, what's your lowest?
That really stung, but I was in Barcelona and my manager was like, "It's okay, mate, we're going to the new camp." Like, immediately afterwards, I was like, class. Yeah. But I would say it's definitely up there. The Madrid finals, the one with Karius, that really fucking hurt. Yeah. And obviously the one we lost more recently as well. The Champions League finals really, really hurt, but like the way that City came back, and like the fact that we not lost any games in like 14.
I
And
just
it
thought
just
it was meant
didn't
to be
matter.
Stevie G popping up. Like I said, Stevie G's gonna win us it. Coutinho's gonna score. I was at the game, but no one could get data. We found out 2-0 and Coutinho scored. I'm just like, it's just meant to be. I'm like, but
We
it was
weren't
like it was
winning
almost
though.
but
We
we
had to
weren't
win.
winning. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So then when Salah scored, it was kind of like City were, I think, were already 3-2 then.
Yeah,
And
threw
it was
two up, and he
like,
ran to the crowd, and he was celebrating like he'd won us the league, and he got to the crowd
and
because
were
they,
like,
as far as they knew, it was 2-0. They got to the crowd, and he realised it weren't enough,
oh,
and you
man.
see his heart break, and my heart was already broken. I actually think that it might even be the Stevie G slip was actually on my birthday. If you don't think I run bad, that was on my birthday. I was convinced that year we were going to win it, and if you're asking me why I'm so negative, it's because that year I allowed myself to believe, and I haven't believed for a second since. Because that day was the worst. I mean, it was not just my worst birthday ever; it was my worst day ever. I was actually watching it with my one of my friends, who's a Chelsea fan as well. It was just fucking grim. And then what pisses me off about that year is everyone's like, "Lol, Cristambul, Palace. You lost the league at Palace." No, we didn't. We drew at Palace because we tried to win 9-0 because we'd already thrown it. We had to win that game 9-0 to make back the goal difference so that we could go into the last game being able to just win it and be able to win the league. If we'd won 3-0, we were 7 goals off in the goal difference. The only reason we conceded 3 is because we were picking the ball out of the net 3-0 to try and score 5 more. So, yeah, that was horrible that year as well.
Yeah, I think I cried. Only ever cried once from footy. I think that was the carriest one. I think because I was bevied as well. I was drunk. We had a big party in my mum and dad's. All my mates were there. First, obviously, Champions League final. But obviously, Istanbul was. But I mean, since I guess Istanbul and then AC Milan, that I was like old enough to kind of like fully remember. So it was like this was so big. And then Karius happens, and I just remember sitting on the steps and just thinking, what the fuck, man? Like, I think because we lost the final, the Europa League final as well, didn't we?
Yeah, to Sevilla.
Yeah, and it was just like, and then I'd been to the League Cup final. We lost against City as well.
I remember that one as well.
Thinking just like, what the fuck? What's going on? So I think that in Madrid, it was just like, oh my god, like that. I cried. So that was the first time I cried, like in terms of like sadness. But then Madrid was the first time when Origi scored. That was just the moment I just knew, and it was just like, oh my god,
that was so good.
But that's why though, when we won the league, always my bucket list. Obviously, see us win the Champions League, see us win the league, and obviously I've got season tickets. So I just them 2 times the last day of the season, was like, this is it. And then the one time we fucking win. That's why we've got to win it, man.
We have to.
I haven't seen it. We've won it, but then it was COVID, and like I just remember thinking, like I was in the Alaman at this time actually, and I remember thinking, like, yeah, I'm happy we've won it, but I'm not. I can't go over and go to Liverpool.
I was on my
to
sofa on my own with my dad. I just sat there, and I remember having a little weep, but I remember just looking at like Klopp, like he was obviously very emotional, and the lads didn't seem to care, but they must care. It must, and Salah's been talking about recently, like we couldn't celebrate it. We have to win again. I can't not win again.
I think that's what gives, again, having that motivation. I can see why I thought City would drop off the season before, because when you win the treble, like and you've won it 4 times in a row, winning
they did
Champions
a little
League.
bit. They weren't at 98. They were at 90 something, 91.
Yeah.
And our best versions of ourselves would have pissed the leagues that last year, but we weren't anywhere near our best, obviously.
Yeah. What was I going to say then? If you 3 contracts was obviously as this was going out, still haven't been signed. If you could, for you, if you could only sign 2 out of the 3, what would they be for you? Not what you think's going to happen for you.
I'll just say I think that we all know what's going to happen. I think Virgil and Salah will eventually sign, and Trent will leave. I personally find it very, very difficult to accept that Trent's going to go on a free to Madrid. I think that, so if I could control it, I would pick him as one of them. But then I don't know how you pick the second. I think that I'm not concerned that Virgil's going to be like, but he's the oldest. So I think everyone's saying Virgil first, and I understand why people are saying Virgil first, but there's a small part of me that thinks like there's a few very, very good defenders in the past that have got to like 34 and not quite been the same. So Trent's got another 8 years. I would pick Trent just based on that and the fact that he's a local lad, and I can't fucking stand someone local going to Madrid after everything that we've been through against those bastards. For him to go there on a free,
man. Like, I just sign him. Just even if it was just last few years, they've just like, I get Van Dijk and Salah because you wanna leave it like Carragher said recently. That makes sense for their age because you want to leave it as if the talks was of Salah like this time last season, we'd probably all be saying no, we don't want him to sign because he was going through a bit of a shit spell. Maybe his legs have gone. So you want to leave it as late as possible when they're that age. But with Trent, just sign him, just give him a year contract and say, listen.
Yeah, but he won't. Why he's not going to do that because he wants to go.
No, that's but even if you say to him a year, so we can get a transfer fucking fee for you. You know what I mean?
This is what's so painful about it. So if I could stop it, I would do that, and I'd have Salah because I think Salah's got longer at the top than Virgil does. But it's just I couldn't give a shit. If we get to keep two of them, I'm really be happy. But it's the fact that like I could understand like when Suarez went to Barcelona, I was fucking gutted, but I could understand. He's a South American going to Barcelona. It makes sense. Coutinho, I was fucking gutted. People don't understand how everyone laughs at that transfer fee. He was worth that much that year.
Yeah, he was
absolutely unplayable.
This story I always say, I was proper banging into FIFA then, and I played with Coutinho when he was at Inter, and when he signed, I was buzzing because he was my favourite player on FIFA. And I remember saying, it was my dad's best mate we used to go to the match with. I remember saying to him, I must have only been like probably 12 at the time or something, or whatever it was. I was saying, he's good, you know. Just based off the fact I played with him on FIFA. And I also watched his YouTube highlights when he was playing for like Espanyol and stuff. I was like, he's special. And he ended up being special. And he always says to me, you fucking said that to me. And I loved him, mate. I loved him.
I absolutely loved him. And I didn't even want him to go for 140 million. He was that good that year. I was absolutely gutted. I had him on my shirt. I had him, not obviously that year because he'd let himself down the way he conducted himself. But again, he got us a transfer fee, a fucking huge one, because he just signed a 5-year deal, the stupid twat. And then we got 140 million quid and rebuilt the entire team with him. Even then, I could understand if we'd been through the finals we'd had against Real Madrid and he decided he wanted to go to Real Madrid for 140 million. Okay, lad. But it's the fact that he's a local lad that has been... He must have felt the way that we feel about these Madrid games.
Yeah.
And the way that we lost them and the manner in which they conducted themselves, it makes me sick. I fucking can't stand that club from top to bottom. It's I hate it. So for the fact that a Liverpool lad can go through that and want to go there on a free, and people like fucking Jamie Redknapp piping on about how Liverpool fans should just let him go and be happy that they had him and he never cost a transfer fee. Fuck off, man. Just, you haven't got a clue. It is so much deeper than just, I want to try something new. There's some things you just don't do. You don't go to Manchester United. You don't, and I really honestly believe that if you're someone like Diaz that wants to go to Barca, you'll get people's blessings. But if you are a Scouser and you want to go to Real Madrid after the last, and he lived through pretty much the entire period of what's happened, we've only just beat them for the first time since he's been there. Once. We beat them once. We lost 2 finals. We lost a quarterfinal. For him to go on a free there is completely unacceptable in my mind.
Even when you talk about Lens and Diaz going to Barca, or in the past it was Coutinho and Suarez, right? It was like, fair enough. But if they went at their peak for free, which Trent's doing, we'd be fucking fuming. Because it's like, and both at the player, but also at the owners, and also at the, like, obviously now with Michael Edwards and stuff like that. But it's like, and I get how it's come to this because it's been obviously a shit show for the last few years. You know what I mean? Fucking Klopp's mate come in and was doing transfers and blah, blah, blah. And obviously Trent was like, well,
he made some good transfers, mate. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Everyone was kicking off, but last summer, he was all right, wasn't he?
He smashed it. He activated a few release clauses, but he got a Gravenberg over the line right at the end, and he looks like an absolute baller. Right. You know, he barely put a foot wrong, Schmadke, to be fair.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, what's Hughes done? Hasn't signed a single contract, and he signed a fucking Chiesa. Obviously, was just a. We'll put 12 million on this guy who we know isn't ready, and he's not going to be able to play many games, just to stop people complaining because we haven't signed anyone. Again, we haven't strengthened. So
I don't know what he's doing, man, because even Kanate was rumoured to be close to signing a new contract. That was about a month ago, and he's not.
Yeah. And we've come out and said, Zubimendi, we want him. We think we can get him. He didn't come. We've said again about Kvaratskhelia. He looks like he's not going to happen. It's embarrassing, man. Like, you're an opportunist club and you're not taking any opportunities and you can't sign your best players. And when Trent signed that deal 4 years ago, I thought, why is it 4 years?
Yeah.
Why 4?
I didn't realise at the time it was only 4.
Yeah.
That he,
I remember thinking at the time,
maybe a longer contract or something.
It's almost like he was like, I don't want 5. There's something in the back of my mind kind of thing. And at the time, it didn't sit well with me, but it was like, okay, 4 more years. Like, it'll never be 4 years' time. I'll never have to worry about that. But now it is, and he's going. He's fucking going, and he's going to fucking Real Madrid. And it's just horrible. And I have to listen to Jamie Redknapp talk for half an hour over Jamie Carragher. He's the only one talking sense because he's the only one that understands Liverpool fans that's talking about this.
Yeah. Do you think it'll be on the same level as Michael Owen?
I think it's worse.
Do you think?
Well, Michael Owen went to. Are you talking about him going to Madrid or Man United?
No, like United in terms of like now he's not accepted at Anfield because of what because of him going to United.
Yeah, it's more than that though because he's a bit of a knob, isn't he? Like he's a bit of a knob. Yeah. So like obviously
just a quick one, just a funny story. They put me in a draw for a Michael Owen shirt when I was 2 years old. Right, my name. It was when he was at his peak in Liverpool. And I think it was when he scored 2 goals against United in a final or something. Signed. Arsenal. I won it. Arsenal, was it? Yeah. And won it. Signed. And then when it got to a point where I was old enough, I just sold it. I think I maybe got like a few grand for it or something. My dad let me keep it, to be fair. I was like, fuck that. I'm not in a Michael Owen signed shirt.
Not a chance. And again, I mean, people always give me shit because I'm obviously not from Liverpool, but I don't even remember the choice that I made. All I know is that my dad bought me an Owen shirt because I was obsessed with Michael Owen, and now I hate him. So like,
did you see him? I'll have to show you it. I'll have to put a link in the chat. There was an advert he did for Dubai or something, right? And he's a pilot, and it's the worst advert I've ever seen. Honestly, the funniest shit. But the other day, did you see he was on some podcast and he was talking about him being competitive? It's like we were before about being competitive with COD, right? And he's saying certain shit like he was that competitive. And he had that much like balls that he used to be watching telly with his mum and dad, and he used to be eating an apple, and then he used to just like throw the apple in the bin and try and get it in the bin. And there was one day where he threw it and it hit the wall, and it done him staying on the wall, right? And his mum bollocked him, and he said, "Next day, I had that much balls. This is just what I was like. I had that much balls. I went through it again, got it in." And my dad just gave me a little nod, and my mum couldn't say anything. But that's what made me like the player, the man, and the player I was. And I'm just sat there like, what a man!
Absolute knob. He doesn't. Look. He was. It was a disappointment, obviously, but you wouldn't have put it past him. And we got a fee for him. It was only 8 million, but he did go to Madrid for a fee. People forget that.
I think it would have been like Torres. Like Torres was worse going to Chelsea, but like Torres now is accepted in the Legends group and like Legends games because it's like I don't know. I think because we again got a boss fee for him. But also, like, he was past his peak. I think when they go at the peak, it's not okay. But when they go and you get a big fee for them, like a Suarez or like a Coutinho, that's fine. But then, like an Owen, if you go to United, like going to United, same with Benitez, like going to Everton, man, it's like he's just ruined his reputation a little bit because it's like, why?
Hard to ruin winning a Champions League.
Yeah, no, but obviously Benitez was, again, he'll be accepted and stuff, but I think going to United and then now going in Trent, I don't think it's as bad as going to United.
No, of course it's not, but it's bad.
In the circumstance that you said of they have been our rivals over the last few years in Champions League and for free in your peak, like we're getting nothing from it. It's just, it's mad.
It is going to be really, really sore when he does it. And he's not going to say anything till the end of the season because he will be desperate for it not to do it. He'll want to win the league, but he needs to start fucking running around like he wants to win the league. Christ alive. That performance against Man United.
No, I got what you mean, but he's never been one of them type of players. Like Robbo, do you know what? Robbo, he does a mistake and you could see like Trent just never... being one of them type of players, but he should be. He should
Yeah.
start fucking running around. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Yeah.
it's almost like he doesn't, and that's fine if you had like. I always said it. Jordan Henderson, obviously not one of the greatest players, but he give that back up to Trent and Salah being on
Yeah.
that side. He ran for both of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
He was unbelievable, mate. Like, people don't understand how good Jordan Henderson was. He ran himself into the ground.
mate, literally that
Yeah.
Barcelona game, wasn't it? Once we beat them.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear a funny story about that game? So, night before we go and play poker in the casino in Liverpool, I win the tournament for 1K. Playing heads up first, this guy is on some form of drug. His jaws everywhere. It's like 4 in the morning. And I'm like, I know I'm better than him, but I'm like, he's fucking just one of them. Doesn't give a fuck,
Yeah.
no fear.
Yeah.
I'm like, right, we'll do a deal. I got 1K in cash. Remember taking a picture of it, like 1K in cash. That's the first time. I was like, that's just sick. Go to the game, just expecting to just see Suarez again, like see Messi. Not expecting anything from it. Boom. Obviously, get an early goal. And it's like, oh shit! Like,
Here we are.
One of the best moments of my life ever.
Mm.
After it, pissed. Go and play cash games. That's why I fucking hate cash games. Again, one of the worst runs of my life. Just people playing like in Liverpool. There was a lot of, I'm not going to say what they were, but they had a lot of unlimited money, basically, of doing activities that isn't quite legal. So they were just playing 100 VPIP, and they just kept getting wads of cash out. And I'm like, I know this was a problem with me when I was first starting out. I was like, especially in cash games when I was in union stuff, I was like, I haven't got the funds, but I know I'm better than them. I know I can make money. You know what I mean? But they were just relentless, and they were just hitting. I remember one hand that like he must have called like a gut shot or something on the flop, and we just got it all in. Like I think I had top set, and he binked on the river. And I remember just looking at it like I was pissed as well after the game, and I basically bent through all of that 1K. So, but I've never been that arsed to lose 1K because I just had the best night of my life. Obviously, seeing Liverpool win, but yeah, so won 1K. Saw one of the best nights of my life. Like coming back from 3-0 against Barcelona, lost 1K. And I was like, yeah, that's, again, the memories. No.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all part of it, mate.
So what is we said about the worst memory from Liverpool, what's been your best?
Istanbul.
Yeah. Well, because I never say that as man because I was a bit too young. My dad was
14.
at Istanbul. Yeah, so you are at a decent age to remember it. Where were you? Just at home watching it?
I was at home, because I was 14, so I couldn't do anything. I was at school night. It was a school night, and I remember thinking, I cried at half time, and I remember thinking, I can't go to school tomorrow. I'm going to get absolutely fucking eviscerated because I was the only Liverpool fan, obviously, at school.
So it was your school, just like
West Ham, Chelsea,
was it?
Bunch of absolute tossers.
So why Liverpool then? Just a quick going back.
Honestly, mate, I don't remember the decision, but it was because of Michael Owen. Unfortunately, I used to love watching Michael Owen. It was like '98 World Cup. I was a wee kid. And he scored that goal against Argentina, and I was obsessed with him. I was like apparently insistent with apparently I would just want to watch Owen, and I wanted to watch Liverpool, and I liked Liverpool because of Owen. And my dad bought me a shirt. He bought me 3 shirts. He's a Leeds fan. He bought me a Leeds shirt, a Chelsea shirt. I can't remember why, but I had like a autoglass Chelsea shirt. And I had when I was like 6 or 7, and I had a Liverpool shirt, and he would be able to tell you. I can't remember even asking him, to be honest. I should probably ask him. He probably wouldn't even have an answer. I think it just naturally was what I gravitated to and who I wanted to watch. Probably because of Michael Owen. And then from then on, I had every single kit every single year. I've got the greatest collection of Liverpool kits. I can't wait until I move into a house and I've got every one, mate.
Have you?
Yeah, I've got some serious bangers in my repertoire. I've got like Danny Murphy 03. I've got Florence Cinema Pongo. I've got a lot.
I think I had a Pongo one, or was it? I think it might have been
Cinema.
I think it was maybe a Doof one. We went to. Yeah, I know. It was in Tenerife. Went to the zoo, and there was loads of like Senegalese guys there, and they loved it because they like loved Doof. But now it was obviously Mane. Like every time I was a Mane top, they all loving it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I've got
Pongo. Oh, Cinema Pongo.
Cinema, yeah.
Anthony Natale. Yeah, man. Isn't it? We've had some fucking. That was another good question actually. I asked on stream. Who's this for you? The shittest player, but your favorite.
I did like cinema. There's a few shit ones I've really liked. David and Go, I really liked.
Yeah, I was going to say that from the
God, he was fucking
Dos
shit.
Senna.
Dos Senna for the lob
Senna.
against United. In terms of like, they've got to be kind of somewhat useful. Probably Igor Biscan. I really liked Igor Biscan because he was like fucking shit, but then he went on this like really random form where he was unbelievable, and I was like, Igor, why? Like just out absolutely nowhere. So it would probably be Igor Biscan, or David and Go. I'm not really sure.
Recent one's got to be Origi. Like he was just shit.
He was a legend.
Thinking about it though, compared to Nunes, like
yeah, he's better than Nunes.
But I remember just thinking he can't really play. But
Origi was clutch as hell, man. Did you put him on the pitch, you'd score. Like you can't say the same for Darwin.
That's what I mean.
There's something about Origi, something about him. Like he needed our crowd loved it. I mean, we were pretty good with every single player, but he was especially loved because he just was so clutch and he didn't really give a shit. Like it was so weird. Like it's almost like you used to remember like goals that were massive and like people going absolutely wild, like Wijnaldum scoring the third against Barca, going absolutely nuts. Like Origi would score goals and just like walk away.
Yeah,
it was just so like chill, unbelievable. Like he scored in the Champions League final. He was just like just walked towards the corner with his like. I was just, and the goal against Everton, he picked the ball out of the net.
Mate, that is the funniest, man. That is the funniest shit. Did he think it was like did he think
I don't know what he thought.
Or something? I think.
He just never. I've never seen him like he saw that winner against Newcastle, the header, like just never ever celebrated. Like it's like he didn't. It was so weird, and maybe that's why he was so good in clutch situations because he just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, he just went on and just didn't give a fuck. He didn't even know what the score was. I don't think.
He literally didn't.
Was just like,
I got him on the back of my even after I knew he was leaving, I got Origi on my. I got one of those I don't know what do you call them these days, the elite ones or the vapor ones, like the match shirt. Yeah. And I got him. I was at Anfield for a tour, and I went to the shop afterwards, and they had it like 20% off, and I went, I'm getting Origi on this. Yeah. I remember people saying, "Why are you getting Origi? He's elite." You don't fucking understand. I'm getting Divock Origi on the shirt, and I'm immortalizing him forever. And I don't wear it often. It's actually a little bit too small. Those ones come up a bit small on me, but that will be one of my cherished shirts forever. So you definitely Divock Origi would be the most recent.
If you had to choose one top and then someone on the back, it might not even be one you've had if you've got, but if you can think about your favorite top and then your favorite player on the back, who would it be?
I mean, my favorite player is Gerrard, but like I had one Gerrard shirt, but I never usually get the same player twice. I always get a different player.
Yeah.
So I've only ever had more. I have, and then there's like for example, I've never had Firmino, I've never had Mane, like I never had Fabinho, I've got a Virgil one actually. I never had like I was always sort of away from the big players, and when I got Salah, it was when he first joined because I just had a feeling about him. Yeah. I haven't had Salah since then. My favorite shirts, 08-09 with Torres on the back.
Oh yeah,
that one was unbelievable. I like the 17-18 with Salah a lot. I've got a 21-2 or is it 22-3, like the sort of like off-white and collared green one. That was absolutely unbelievable. I've got Henderson on that one.
Yeah.
I think that shirt with Salah on it would have been a banger. So I'll probably say that if I hadn't already had Salah, because it's kind of like a little bit of an Egyptian kind of thing to it. And I think that shirt with Salah on it, if I was answering, either 08 or 09 Torres with the Adidas white stripes or 22-23 Salah third kit.
There's some good choices. Mine is what I had. I think because again, when you're a kid, it's like Father Christmas was just obviously, and you get waking up Christmas Day and getting it. Mine was after Istanbul. Remember the like gold, the red gold, Gerrard on the back.
Yeah, got that one with Gerrard on the back. Yeah, unbelievable.
Favorite. Show you quick. Let me just, obviously podcast listeners have to go to YouTube for this, but let me just show you quick. I just was in Belgium for New Year's in literally small, not small, but Antwerp, like of all places. Literally right by my girlfriend's brother's apartment. There was this like.
You mean your fiance, mate? Congratulations.
Fiance, of course. Yeah. Do you know what?
Don't worry, I'm here for you.
I know. Those that don't know, I've just got engaged. Yeah.
Congratulations, buddy. Very happy for you.
Only took me 7 years. And we were just in some charity shop and it had footy tops in. I was looking, I was like, do you have any Liverpool tops? And it was they're both like on its own. And I'm like, please be my size. I would have bought it if it wasn't my size anyway.
Yeah.
my size. Like, I'll just show you. Like, you said
I've seen it on your Instagram.
I'm gonna save this. I was gonna wear it today. But I'm just gonna save it for best. I'm just gonna save it for live. Like, how just beautiful is that? I was looking online as well. You can't really get it this.
No,
like,
that is unbelievable.
Condition. Like, to get it this condition in Belgium of all places. Like, where's that come from?
That's a sensation. That is.
€150. I would have paid double that, to be honest.
Mate, easily double.
So when I looked
more.
at it, I'm like, oh my god, I'm getting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, unbelievable that.
What?
I'd love to find something like that, little gem.
Right, I think that's enough footy talk anyway. I think people are watching in
probably, yeah. They're not watching.
Canada, if there's any, probably like, what the fuck's going on?
I'll tell you what I do have. I've got a, I think they mass produced it a little bit, but I've got the 04. I could probably get it down actually. Can I just mind if I quick?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
If I crash and burn and leave it in. I've got this, which is Clive Tilsley's match notes from the Champions League final.
Lads, that is so sick.
Yeah. Clive Tilsley's match notes from the Champions League final. So you've got every player in every position, perfectly like written. It cost me like a few bob, to be fair, but fuck me.
Oh, did you just buy that online? Did you?
I got it from the I think it was in the Liverpool store for a little bit. I've had it for a while now, but I just love it. It's my favorite bit of memorabilia.
This is this actually transitions well. I was going to get onto because I know you're into Pokemon cards. What is your like?
I can't actually hear you right now.
No, it's all right.
I'm trying to make sure that I don't break my.
Lads, put it down. Don't put it there.
Yeah, I'm not risking it because it's. Imagine if it's my favorite bit of memorabilia and I just fucking drop it and smash it.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Right, there we go. It's fun.
Good transition because I was going to ask you about this. I know you're into Pokemon cards.
Oh yeah.
What is your like most expensive Pokemon card pull, or the most expensive kind of like memorabilia thing you've got, whether it is kind of in Pokemon or not?
I've got a lot of questions about that. A lot of. I could go on forever about my Pokemon cards in my collection.
Is there a for me? Because I wasn't into Pokemon. I was more into Yu-Gi-Oh, and there's one card in Yu-Gi-Oh that I'm gonna get one day. But what the original Blue Eyes White Dragon? I want to get like PSV
first
10.
edition.
Yeah,
that's gonna set you back a few bob, lad.
I'm not into like there was a new Blue Eyes White Dragon. I was into like the old one.
Yeah. I used to love Yu-Gi-Oh. I was more Yu-Gi-Oh than Pokemon for the longest time. Yeah. I've got a my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card here, just chilling. Cyber Dragon Infinity in a 10.
Nice.
Yeah. See, I'm a complete nerd.
Again, I'm like getting into like watches and stuff as well. I'm like, it got to a point where I'm like, poker's my full-time job now. I don't other than like Liverpool, like I'm starting to collect like retro Liverpool stuff. So I'm like, I want to start. And I've got a bit more spare money to like have these kind of hobbies.
Yeah.
Like what did you used to love as a kid? So I was thinking like Yu-Gi-Oh, like I said, getting more into watches.
Yeah.
Like Pokemon, I used to watch, but I was never into like Pokemon cards. What is like your favorite Pokemon card of all time then?
Well, so I don't know how much we can get into this because it's a fucking rabbit hole. But
Go on.
I was like. The golden age I was there when it started. I played all the games. Red Blue was out when I was a kid, like 8 years old. Pokemon cards were at school when I was in primary school, like 10 years old. So I was in the peak of it. And obviously we were cracking open these £3 Pokemon packs looking for that Charizard that's now worth 250k in good condition. But none of them are in good condition because it was only kids buying them at that point, and the parents never knew they were going to be worth any money. So no one's got a good condition one. If you do, that's why if you do, it's worth so much money because they're all just raw dogging them in their pockets and just playing, just like trading them at school and stuff.
Like I think like I'm like match attacks now, like the original match attacks in like good condition.
Mate.
Obviously, it's like, my dad was like, maybe we've got some. I'm like, yeah, we probably do somewhere, but they're not going to be in good condition because we were kids playing with them.
Yeah. So I actually had like a Blastoise from the original Pokemon, which was my favorite card, and I put it through the wash because I was a kid. I put it through the wash in my shorts, and then I completely gave up. I was into Yu-Gi-Oh at secondary school. Big into Yu-Gi-Oh, but I was playing the game. I wasn't really collecting the cards. So obviously in the anime in Yu-Gi-Oh, it was like the actual game. So it translated quite well. And there was a period in like 2003, 2007, I was pretty into Yu-Gi-Oh when it was like peak Yu-Gi-Oh before they fucked it by putting too many rules in there. And it's only recently that I got into Pokemon. So my girlfriend and I have been together for like nearly a year now. And when I first met, I didn't do Pokemon at all, none. And she's like a pretty big degenerate. Like she loves poker and she loves Pokemon. She loves ripping packs. She's a gambler. She's a degen. And she was in the newest set at the time. She was opening. It's called Powder and Fates, and she was opening a bunch of it. And I saw her on Instagram. And she was like opening all these packs. This is when I first started dating her, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I appreciate a good pack opening. And then I was like, why don't we? Because I was like trying to do things together. Like, why don't we? Because I used to love Pokemon cards. Why don't we just open the next set together?
Yeah.
And then since then, mate, it's just fucked. Like it's gone completely off the deep end. I know I love studying the market, like how things go. And like, if you don't know right now, it's a complete shit show. The Pokemon market, you cannot buy the newest products. It's just everyone's buying them out, scalping them, like keeping them. It's fucking horrible right now. But
so you can't go like because as a kid, like you just remember Toys R Us. Remember going in there and being able to. There was just like packs full of like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, like match packs. So you can't go anymore. You can't now.
You could do until very recently. You couldn't, but they released this really popular set that's coming up. This week actually on Friday. It releases. Well, whenever this goes live, but it will be out. Called Prismatic Evolutions, and it's got like really popular like evolution cards in it, and everyone's going completely crazy, and it just pushed the rest of the market along, and now everyone's just snap buying up. There's Discords where you get notifications where the in stocks come in, and everyone just snap buys them, and if you're not in there, you're not getting any, so everyone's jumping in there, and you just can't. Like the most recent set went on pre-order for March, and it was sold out in an hour on the Pokemon Center. So like this stuff's fucked now. Like it's absolutely crazy, and we've got a pretty good. Like we love opening the packs because we're obviously gamblers and degenerates at heart. We love collecting the cards. I love collecting the cards, and we love keeping like some sealed stuff as well because it goes up in some of the sealed stuff, mate. It's better than fucking stocks. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. That's for me. Like that's why I'm getting more into. I like the idea of watches because it's like it's not only getting something that like you can enjoy and use, but it's like it's an investment as well. And that I like the idea of a hobby like these like retro Liverpool tops. I can wear them at live events, but if I keep them in good condition, I could resell them and they'll just go up. You know what I mean? So that's why I think like that I like, and that's what I say about poker. It's like it's a hobby that you could like make a bit of money at. You know what I mean? Like even if you just break even, because every hobby you pay money for. Like there's no hobby that you expect money back in return, but something like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh, then you can potentially obviously get stuff that.
I mean, the amount of packs we open, mate. I mean, like it's quite well established that opening packs is just burning money, but we really enjoy that part of it. And like some of the best moments from the hobby are from opening a pack and like getting the best card. Like she packs them all. As you could probably imagine, I run like shit in packs as well. But like we went to Singapore recently, and they have a Pokemon Center there. There's 15 Pokemon Centers in the world, and 13 of them are in Japan, and one of them's in Vietnam, and one of them's in Singapore in the airport, the dual Changi Airport mall, which is fucking massive, and it's got this huge waterfall in the middle. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm onto that. That's one of the biggest airports almost.
Yeah, it's fucking gigantic, and they've got a Pokemon Center which isn't that big, but they had products there that weren't like you can't get them in England and you can't get them in America. Like, everyone in America is like paying double, triple, quadruple MSRP for them, RRP in England, sorry, and we found them there, and I was looking at them. I was like, "Is that what I think it is?" And we just bought them all. We bought them all, mate. We spent 800 Singaporean dollars, which is about 450 quid, and we just went back to a hotel room and fucking ripped a lot of them. It was great, and we packed. It was first ever time in my life. I didn't pack it; she did. A Charizard. We've actually got it on video, which we might. She's a bit self-conscious about it because she's her on the video because she packed it.
Yeah.
It would be well worth showing one day because we go absolutely nuts.
That's why I think though, like video and stuff like that, and even if like end up like them original videos that you did, if that, and same with me, like even if it didn't lead to anything, at least you've got them memories.
Yeah.
Like I've vlogged a few times for the match. The one I forgot the other day.
Yeah, watched that.
Vlogged with Paddy the Baddy in the Man City game. That's got like 8.5k views. I just completely forgot about it. But that never led on to anything. But just boss memories like that. You know what I mean? That you'll have forever.
Exactly. exactly.
So
Couldn't agree more.
how much is that worth? That
The
card?
Charizard is about £200, just
Oh,
approaching
yeah.
£200. Yeah, but it's a recent set. It's not like an old set Charizard. It's
Right,
from
right.
151. If anyone knows it, it's like it was released in 2023, and they're still kind of releasing products for it. So, as
Right.
in terms of a modern card, it's one of the most expensive cards. But you won't really find things worth. There are a couple of things that are in the thousands, the modern cards, but like in terms of recent years, it's one of the biggest bought. And obviously, I've never gotten a Charizard. I was talking to my brother over Christmas. We never got a Charizard in a pack ever, and technically, I haven't, but she did, so I'm taking it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But like, just the feeling of just drilling that chase, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just endorphins are through the roof.
Yeah.
Like, you just
For
can't
me, it was.
replicate it, man.
Were you into FIFA Ultimate Team?
I played it and I had to let it go because it was too detrimental to me.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle losing at that game,
Well, it was
so
like
I
it
had to
was like
stop.
that was like on Ultimate Team. It was like packing a Messi or Ronaldo. That was
Yeah,
like
I never packed it. I had
nah,
one pack
never.
where I got a Koeman and a Salah. I think in FIFA 17. I stopped in FIFA 18.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did play it pretty religiously and I really enjoyed it. But I never packed anything good.
It was
That's
like
the
that. It's like I think my brother still has it. Actually, he was so young, and he packed a couple of team of the seasons. I can't remember what it was. Maybe Thiago Silva, and we were the both like the reaction again. It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
like we have that now forever. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
I don't know if he had a YouTube channel and he kept it. I hope he kept it because I'm thinking back now. But I
Yeah,
never. I think Neymar maybe was my peak. Neymar was my biggest. But again, that's something I'm getting into, and I've got to like. We seem very similar where it's like I can't just play it just and not get that into it. Like I've found
yeah,
myself team of the seasons coming up in a couple of weeks, and I'm like, but now it's like it's so complicated, and I'm like, I don't have the time. And also, it's just I just want to be simple, you know what I mean?
yeah,
But
yeah.
I know myself, I'm like, nah, I'm not. What's good about this new Ultimate Team is you can play and they give you a lot of packs now. Whereas back in the days, like you just had to buy them or you had to buy coins.
See. I never packed in because I never bought a thing. I really enjoyed having a shit team and grinding a better team
Yeah,
from nothing. That was the
yeah,
best
yeah,
part of
yeah.
it for me. And I used to get like a couple of good players and like get a few rewards. But back then it was 40 games in weekend league, and it just destroyed me. I used to play non-stop. I just had nothing else I could do because I had to.
40
I had to get
games
the
was
40
mad.
games in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's even that now. Like I was playing it before the weekend league now, and I'm playing it, and I've got to Division 5, and I'm getting wrecked. I'm
yeah,
just like everyone's so good, but then
yeah,
I'm finding myself wanting to go on YouTube, going how to defend properly and I'm
yeah,
like, no, like I don't want to get again. I just found myself getting too
yeah.
into it, where then it becomes like I don't enjoy it. I just want to like just enjoy
100%.
it, Lucas. You know what I mean? Same
Yeah,
with like what was I getting into recently? Like like jujitsu. Me mate was trying to get me into, and then I was getting choked the fuck. Like my throat was killing me, and I was researching on ways to not get choked out, basically, just so it didn't hurt me. But then I was finding myself getting into it too like getting into it too much. And I'm like, no, I want something as a hobby that I can just play and I can just, that's why I'm getting back into like tennis because I can just relax and chill and take my mind off things. You know what
yeah.
I mean? But that's on Ultimate Team. I know career mode I was doing with Liverpool, and that was
Mm.
amazing because it was just like switch off from the world, play that. But then I won the quadruple, so it was like again, it's like, well, I've got
You're
nothing.
like Trent. You've got nothing left to win. You're going to
That's
leave.
what,
So fucking
listen,
around
that's
with
what
it
I
on the
mean. I know, fucking hell, I don't blame Trent for that. But then that's what got me to Ultimate Team. But I'm finding myself, I'm like, nah, I'm getting too into it. You know what I mean? I need to stop. And that's why I think I was getting into Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, and I'm thinking, nah, I'll get too into it, man. I was watching like YouTubers pulling packs and that, and I'm like, I
Yeah,
can't.
it's so good, man. I really enjoy it. I really
Yeah,
enjoy Pokemon. But the main reason I enjoy it is because I do it with my girlfriend. We have a
yeah,
great
yeah,
time
yeah,
doing
yeah.
it together. We everything that we own in Pokemon is completely evenly owned. So if we ever
That's
wanted to buy a house, we'd sell. It sounds ridiculous, guys, but this is the reality of Pokemon right now. We're going to sell all our stuff and buy and like put it towards a deposit because, but it's literally like a shared stocks and shares. Like in our
yeah.
cupboard, I've got these items that are just 200%ing like in 3 months. It's just fucking ridiculous,
See,
man.
that's a sick hobby, man. Because yeah,
Yeah,
it's like that could help you to get a deposit for a house in the future,
yeah. I
or
mean,
like,
we
but
are doing a lot of money off on packs, but
no,
but
but when you were saying that like, that Charizard was only £200 or whatever, but that like same with the memories of going to your first match or like seeing a match in person or whatever, or
exactly, yeah,
like pulling that a card and that's your like because people always talk about
yeah,
on Ultimate Team like it says first own. Do you know what I mean? Like You've
Yeah,
got you
you
could
have it.
buy that for 200 quid, but you pulled that, and that's special.
Exactly. And a lot of the cards that we do have, my favorite ones are just a Magikarp. I don't know if people even know Pokemon, but yeah, it's just that this really cool artist that did this cool Magikarp. It's my favorite one, and I bought these boxes because I was like, I said to my girlfriend, I really want to chase this Magikarp, but these boxes are going to get expensive soon, so I'm going to buy. I found them for £100 each. These boxes sounds a lot of money, £105, and I was like, let's just try one box, and if the other box, if we get it in the first box, we won't need to open the second box. We're not going to get it. It's 1 in 140. Oh, it's 1 in 460 or 480 packs or something. The pull rates are horrendous in Pokemon. And lo and behold, in the fourth pack, she fucking pings it, and we're going absolutely nuts. We haven't got that on recording, but then we kept the other one sealed, and now that's doubled in price since I did that. And it was only 4 months ago. It's just worth twice as much money. It's just ridiculous. Like, I just enjoy trying to track the market and figure out what's going to be popular and why. And it's like if I was that passionate about poker, I'd be fucking class.
It's something about that. Like, obviously, mystery bounties now are getting big in poker, aren't they? It's something about that mystery of like you buying something or getting something, and you've got the chance of like winning something big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then at least with that, you get to keep it, and then you know what I mean. Like,
we got a really cool binder with all of our best cards in it. That it's just so cool to look at. I love looking at it.
Oh, I might have to Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh for me is like, do you know what I mean? But I just
my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card is Cyber Dragon. I really want the like a first edition, cybernetic revolution. The first edition Cyber Dragon. If I was ever have to have one card, it would definitely be that.
I just like the idea in the future, me future man cave of just having all that. Like my dad's got the sickest thing. He got my basically growing up, this is a mad story. One of my best mates won the lottery, his family.
Wow.
I think they won, I can't remember how much they won, a few mil anyway. Moved next to Steven Gerrard. Mad. Literally mad, like the dream. And then after Istanbul, my dad got a replica Istanbul ball, got it signed by Gerrard, so he's got that in a case. So he's in his man cave, he's got stuff like that. He's got like proper handy tops of like all the players signed. He's got some sick stuff.
That's
so in
insane.
The future, I'm like, damn, I want to have like a Klopp hat or something, you know what I mean, signed, like a Gerrard, like, but then it's like poker. Like, I really want to get the Game of Gold poster, like printed out, like a proper poster, and then get everyone from the show to sign it. I think that'd be
sick. Yeah, that'd be really cool. I've got nothing really signed, to be honest with you.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I was thinking the other day. I'm like, I know people, obviously doing this podcast, but I'm like, I know people now. Like, I should just get like a deck of cards signed by people in poker. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it'd be cool to just have memories from.
Yeah, I think poker would be probably the last thing I'd put in my man cave. I'd have an open rail with all my shirts from 20 plus years of buying a Liverpool shirt. I bought one every single season. I bought England shirts as well. We don't need to get into that because you're not really about England, but like
I'm one of them scouts as well. I'm like, I wish, to be honest, I always say I wish I was more about England. Like, when I was a kid, I was. I don't know. I think it's just growing up in Liverpool, obviously, because when I moved to the Isle of Man, and actually even here in Malta, mate, there was like fan parks over here for the England games and that, and it was amazing, the atmosphere. And I was like, I think it was just growing up in Liverpool. Yeah, I'm not one of them where like I want to support. I obviously want to, you know what I mean? And I've been like, why don't I have? Maybe just because I have that much passion towards Liverpool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely that, mate. Mine is it's just because I could never support the same team as my best friends at school. And now England is basically the time. Like, we see each other sporadically, but you know how hard it is to see your old mates these days. Like, everyone's got something going on. You can't really get together. We get together once a year, sometimes twice. But if there's games on, we do every one of them together, and it's the best. So like we've done it ever since we were 12 years old. Yeah. So it's just been such a huge part of like that my life for that reason. And I'll always get shirts, and you don't know if you'll see, but I always get Liverpool players on them. I had Gomez in the last one. I've got a fucking sick Gomez one. I've got Trent ones, unfortunately. He's going to fucking piss off, and I'm going to get...
Saw someone on Twitter the other day, they've got the every collection of Trent shirts from since he was at Liverpool. It's like, that's being fucked now, mate. You better sell that quick before
he's not gone yet, but he does look like he's gone.
I was going to say, I think I can't remember. I don't know if it was Carragher or it was Adam Rowe. He was on a podcast and he was asking why it's a thing in Liverpool. he done a really good point, and it might be that if England won a trophy, it would be paraded around London. It would never come up towards Liverpool. So maybe it is more of a down south thing type of thing.
I think so. I mean, obviously, I grew up down here, but it's just because my mates were so into it, and it's just such a good. There's nothing quite like being like when I watch the Champions League finals. I go to ironically to a pub in London called Famous Three Kings, and they have a Liverpool supporters bar there, and it's fucking crazy. And that's where I watch all the big Liverpool games. I used to have a friend here that I watched them with. But he's gone back to Ireland now, so I can't watch them. I'll just go to the bar on my own and just be in there with the Liverpool fans.
I done it in Paris. Went to Paris recently for a live event, and I just typed in, "There's got to be a Liverpool bar." There was, right. I was expecting to just turn on and there'd be like a few people. Mate, it was bouncing. It was better atmosphere than fucking some of the games that I've been to. It was amazing. They knew all the songs.
Class. They were all French.
So like they hardly spoke English, but they knew every song. It was sick. They were singing songs of like, fucking hell, I've not heard this in years. You know?
It's great, mate. I'll always go to like even the Barcelona one was pretty fucking good as well. We couldn't get into the Liverpool, like the Irish bar that was the one we wanted to go to, but it was still really good, the other one.
We'll have to do obviously there's an event in Liverpool, isn't there? 90-day event this year.
There is, yeah. Your dad's actually offered me some tickets, so unlucky lad.
No. I was going to say we can go. That's
already
my
going.
ticket. He's offered you.
I know. I'm already going.
I'm going. Me, you, and him are going. No one else.
Yeah, well, I think my manager might have something to say about that, but we'll get to that one.
I know. I think he said this is what he does. He's like, because I live in Malta, and like there's so many games I can't go to. And he just, I spoke to so-and-so at this poker company. Oh, they go on the match. So I'm like, fucking hell, Dad, there's going to be no matches we're going to go to because you've offered them to everyone.
He's just networking, mate. You got to let him do his thing.
No, exactly. But no, I'll definitely
warm your seat nicely for you.
Well, what game's closest to that?
No, it's September. It's September, so we don't know yet.
We don't know. Yeah, it makes sense. Do you reckon we'll... do I want to jinx it? Do you think we'll do well this season? Do you think we'll do well?
That's a great way of putting it. I'm most my main optimism comes from the lack of competition. It's seemingly, I don't actually think we would win this league versus a competent City or a competent Arsenal. Like the last two seasons of Arsenal and City, the versions of them would win this league. I'm pretty sure of that. This version of Arsenal, I think, is too inconsistent. City are nowhere near it, obviously. They will come back.
Arsenal have got back in their own heads, I think they get in there at their own heads a lot, Arsenal.
Yeah, but they are still the probably only ones that can win it apart from us, I would say. And that fact gives me more, like, my lack of optimism has never been due to a lack of belief in our team. It's always been because City have cheated their way to an unbeatable squad. So that if without the absence of them, I mean, if they come back and win this one, I'll be absolutely sick. But in the absence of because they're signing everyone, they're going to spend 200 million this January. Like
that obviously shows that they're not fucking getting done then, are they?
Yeah,
obviously not.
We're never going to get done.
£100 million of players in January.
Yeah, but I think I'm most confident this year. It sounds funny. We're nowhere near as good as some of the Klopp, like 97, 98 point teams, but my confidence doesn't come from how good we are. It comes from how bad everyone is, how shit everyone is. And I think tomorrow this midweek is going to be hugely telling. If we go to Forest and get done, which I think is very, very possible, given 100%. the amount of goals, there's a way we're conceding goals, man.
Yeah.
The manner in which we concede goals, like we weren't conceding goals early on. Remember, we had this really good defensive record, but the way we're conceding goals, man, oh my God. You can't win leagues usually defending the way we're defending and making the errors we're making.
That's why our defensive stats are amazing. I thought that's what every team that's won the Prem, even Leicester, had a solid defense. Like the fact you do need a solid defense. Yeah. So that's where. But then I think since the Kanai injury,
he's back now though. He is back, and Gomez did fine, but like and Quans has been just a bit of a liability this year, unfortunately. Yeah. What this game week feels massive. I remember when we won the league and we came back from the Club World Cup, we had to field a fucking team of kids against Villa, and they smashed us, and they were celebrating like they won the World Cup. It really fucking pissed me off. And we came back and we had the Leicester game, 3 days rest, and everyone was like, "Oh, Boxing Day away from home." Leicester, when they were pretty good. They'd recently, they were solid. They still had some pretty good players. and we just fucking smashed them.
That was the game I knew we were going to win it.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the game when it was just like, wow,
we had won like 17 out of 18 games as well.
Yeah,
so it was fairly clear.
That was the moment where it was like, nah, we're winning this.
Yeah.
So even now it's like, nah, we're obviously, we are ahead of everyone, but it's still just that fear that, you know what I mean?
So if you ask me at the end of this week, if we go to Forest and win, and if Arsenal do not beat Spurs, and then we go to Brentford and win, I will tell you what you want to hear.
Well,
but I think it's very unlikely that these things happen together.
Yeah, this episode's going out after them games happen, so I'm sure there'll be in the comments whether we win or lose anyway. So
yeah.
Nice one, lad. Anyway, it's I just realised it's nearly 2.5 hours.
It's a long time, man. I don't imagine anyone's going to listen to our fucking nonsense.
I think most of the time it's just towards the end. I think they've switched off most of the non-Liverpool fans.
This was for us. This was for us.
But yeah, lad, hopefully I will be in Barcelona with you anyway, celebrating us win the league.
None of that hopefully, mate. I need you there. Come on.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm going to get to more A-to-day events, so I'm going to be doing more YouTube content at the type of event. So, but if you do want to check out Eastie's channel, guys, I'll leave obviously on YouTube all his links down below. I don't know how it works on Spotify because I've never uploaded one on Spotify before, but I will leave links if it's possible. Go and check out his content. It is some of the funniest content you will see, in my opinion. And and obviously you stream. What day do you have? Specific days you stream on Twitch or just
no? I just stream whenever. Stream 3 times a week, usually, unless there's a live events. Obviously, EC22 on everywhere is where you can find it.
Sound. Nice one. I appreciate it. Like I said, this has been the Poker Pals podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, go and check out on Spotify. If you're listening on Spotify, go and check out on YouTube because the full video is out on there. Also going to be doing clips and topics from this, and we're also now, after the podcast, going to be filming a bunch of fun winner stays on content. So go and definitely check out our Instagram and social media channels for that. Subscribe if you're new here. I don't even know what it is on Spotify, to be honest. I don't know if it's a follow or a like or whatever, but do that.
I think it's follow.
You know, I've not done the research. I've created an account and I know how to upload on there, but I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed. I'll be trying to do one of these podcasts once a week. So in the meantime, enjoy and see you all soon.
Cheers, lads. Thanks, Robin.